we're streaming, but there's no timeline. There's no time frame. We're gonna go for as many hours as we want. I also want to just give throughout out. Go ahead. Okay. And I've got to bounce here in about 15 minutes. I got to go pick my kid. I'll be gone for about 20, 30 minutes, and I'll be back. So that'll be your time to absolutely, go crazy, show the dick pics, whatever else you want to throw on there to try to get us shut down. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. I understand. I get it. Nice. If anybody else was telling me this, I would absolutely doubt them. With you, I'm not sure if you're kidding or not. I think there might actually be an OnlyFans now with just you just posting pictures of fans. There you go. That's so. If you're looking at the stream right now, you'll see I have a my Zen thing going right now. Actually, looks like it stopped, but so I can't put on my camera here, and I don't know. It's a little irritating. What the hell? You know what? I'm gonna shut all that down and play around that way when I get back. Anyway, so Game Master, you've been quiet this whole time. Well, not everybody, not everybody has yeah, not everyone has the ability to turn on the camera because we don't want some random jumping on there and giving us a dick pic. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. It just keeps freaking out and shutting off. And I'm not seeing Sapper's camera's not coming on either. Not important. I wonder if it's got anything to do with OBS. I don't know why his didn't load either.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you.
Alright.
And Dave, you're.
That was weird. Like, I just had to disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, I'm thinking about disconnecting and trying myself too. But Dave, yeah, you're welcome to come up, Dave. For this, I'm actually going to jump off the stage, go pick up my kid, and we'll let Sapper and Game Master talk for a bit, and see how that goes. Nope, not yet. We're still goofing off. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I already have a tendency to agree with Stasis as Snubber presented it, so I'm just definitely interested to hear from somebody that says that they can disprove that. Right, so I caught the tail of that. So the thesis that I presented it, I do want to ask Game Master before we begin, do you think that I accurately presented what our conversation was prior to now? as God is called the Father, right? He is the Father, and I have a daughter, and I tell my daughter, I'm going to make you pregnant. And that's it. I just say, that is going to happen. Does my daughter have the power to say no?
Yeah, if she wants to.
But I'm more powerful than her, and regardless of what she says, I am capable of making it happen. Regardless. Especially if she is, say, 14 years old, and I am, let's just say for the sake of argument, infinitely more powerful than a 14-year-old by comparison. So if I am infinitely more powerful than this person, and I say, I am going to make you pregnant, does that, and whether they say no or not, I have the power to make it happen. Are they capable of consent?
Well,
Is that 14-year-old girl capable of consent?
he can make it happen, but he chose not to. That's called relenting.
No, he actually did choose to. I'm talking about Mary. I'm talking about God actually commanding Mary, I'm going to make you pregnant. I'm infinitely more powerful than you. You are not capable of saying no. Even if you do say no, I can make it happen anyway. My question to you, is Mary, that person, that 14-year-old girl, is she capable of consent?
Oh, yes, it's Mary. Well, you think Mary's 14? I don't think she is. For one, based on the culture back in the day, she was betrothed, and those who are betrothed, they're usually in their late teens and early 20s.
No. In fact, the ancient Greek word, if I'm not mistaken, I can double check, but the ancient Greek word that was used in the Bible specifically meant young girl, which translated, it was a young maiden. This word was used to describe not a woman of what we would consider legal age today. But even if she was 19, she was 20, the age really doesn't matter. We're talking about somebody who is infinitely more powerful than the person. If I am infinitely more powerful than my daughter, and I wish to force myself upon her, is she capable of consent? That is the question. Is she capable of consent?
She has free will. Remember that. She says no, you gotta respect that. And that's the gift he gave everyone.
Okay, and I ignore it.
One second,
Then
guys.
And you're not God.
Sapper,
Yeah,
I have a
you're
question
right.
for you.
Go ahead.
I have a quick question for Sapper here. Just so sorry, this is like an audio quality issue. Are you able to move your mic away from your face a little bit, Sapper?
Yeah. How's that? Is that better?
I think so. We'll have to see. It's coming like a little scratchy.
Is either your Windows or your Discord right now set to the mic that's on your headset instead of the one that's on the boom?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's the one set to your headset.
No, it is. I'm checking right now. It is the one on the boom. Wait, it could be. Hold on.
Yeah, 'cause there was
Sometimes Discord. Wait, did it change when I moved?
It did not
It
change.
did not.
Okay. Sometimes the computer itself will change the speaker.
Yeah, there's like the Discord sound settings, and then Windows has like a panel that's got
Device.
like the same options.
Okay, here's what I will try. I do have a gain knob. Let me. If I am rotating this knob right here, are there changes while I'm rotating it?
It kind of does. It's almost. Is that like
Okay.
a gain? Did you say gain?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it does sound like you're twisting a gain knob.
Okay.
Maybe you are hooked into that mic.
Okay.
Keep twisting it while you talk, and we'll dial in the space.
Okay. I'm turning it all the way to the right now. It is all the way to the right. I am turning it all the way to the left slowly. What is happening as I turn it to the left? Am I coming down?
Too far.
Louder. Yeah, go back to the right. The left makes it
Okay,
really threatening.
going back up to the right, going back up to the right.
Starting
How
to
is
get
this?
good.
How is this now? Is this better?
Much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Better.
All right. So this gain right here, are we in a good spot?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for helping me with the audio quality because I plan on clipping this later.
All right. So sorry. I'm gonna be trying to butt in. So if you hear my voice, if you can, I'm gonna be trying to dial in options and also make sure we can all get a chance to speak. All right.
Yes.
All
right. So,
I believe it was Game Master's response.
Do you need the question repeated?
I just said you're not God, so unfortunately.
I know I'm not.
Well, you're not gonna respect your daughter's free will, so I don't know what to say to you.
That was a hypothetical. I hope you really understand that there's no way in hell that I was using that as an example because I didn't want to put it on anybody else but myself.
What, you assume God would do the same?
He did. He did do the same in your story.
Yeah, he's using this as an analogy to what's gone on with Mary, right? Do I understand that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so he's exactly saying that that's what God has done.
Mary consented to his will, so
Is she capable of consent? Even no, I understand there is a passage that said Mary agrees. I'm saying whether she agreed or not, is she capable of consent?
yeah.
How? How is she capable of consent in a power dynamic where the person demanding something of her is infinitely more powerful than she is?
One, she was betrothed at a young age, well, pre-teen age, betrothed, and then when she got pregnant, that was in her late teens.
Betrothed. So betrothed means to be assigned to marry somebody regardless of your will. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
So you just said she doesn't have free will. If she doesn't have free will, she can't consent.
Being betrothed is common practice. It's even sometimes pretty common today, okay?
That doesn't mean it is consensual.
Yeah, all right. But just to say that was God's will, that doesn't mean
God violated her consent. By your own logic, God violated Mary's consent. Because if she was betrothed, she didn't have the will to make that choice.
Who made the betrothal?
God, right?
Okay. Yeah, don't assume everything is God's will. That's the response.
The betrothal with Joseph, you mean?
Yeah.
Her parents, most likely.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're getting it.
Okay, sure. Okay, so again, you're talking about her relationship and her marriage to Joseph. I'm talking about God coming in and knocking her up. So, okay, so Jesus was not the Son of God?
No.
God did not make Mary pregnant?
Well, for one, you assume Jesus has to be made. Jesus already existed with God before he even went down into this world through Mary. He just sent Jesus down to the world using Mary as the vessel. He was born as a human. He was born fully human and full divine.
Okay, but he was born from whom? Who gave birth to him?
Mary.
Okay, so God made her pregnant, right?
Yes, all right. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
knocked up Mary. That was an accurate statement, right?
No, he did not. He just sent his son.
Okay, so I have a quick question for you. Was Jesus ever did he develop in Mary's womb?
descend from heaven, Terminator style, bodily? We're talking about a god that can do anything, right? What's the need for a
Oh.
human one?
Yeah,
I have
well,
a
I mean,
question. I have a
let's
question
not
for
get
you,
into
Walter,
that.
real quick.
Go ahead.
Let's go ahead and give Miss Non Sequitur a chance.
Game Master. If today somebody knocked somebody out and through artificial insemination impregnated them, would that be okay?
No. No.
Why was it okay when God did it?
I already talked to Mary. She said she was okay with it. She was ready for what's gonna happen.
But again, the power dynamic. He is infinitely more powerful than her. Regardless of whether or not she says yes or no, when he commands something, this is God, right? At least if she believes that this is a deity, then she doesn't have a choice. She is incapable of consent.
Why? Because he sees everything coming. He knows what he's gonna. He knows what she's gonna answer. That's why.
So she doesn't have free will then. We come back to that same problem. Because if he knows everything that's going to happen, then there is no free will. I mean, I would love to get into the problem with omniscience, but I really want to stick with the God raped Mary part. Because the focus of this conversation is how the Bible, how the God of the Bible condones, commands, and commits rape. And we're just on the Mary bit. We're just in committing the bit, not the commanding and condoning.
Sigh. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm telling you, like, you're getting yourself stuck in the same logic circle here, because by your own words, she is incapable of consent. I'm just trying to get you to see that you are saying that.
Yeah, hold on. I'm a bit lost at this point. So,
Unsurprised. Yeah, go ahead.
just because he sees things, he can see everything coming. Doesn't mean he's not gonna, he's gonna. How do you say this? He knows what we're gonna answer, so doesn't mean he's gonna, crap. He knows what we're gonna answer, yes or no, but
And
Then
using
if-
that knowledge, he can manipulate us to do whatever he wants, right?
but he also knows we have free will and he respects that.
I mean,
There.
do you not understand the incoherence there between knowing what we're gonna say and us having free will? Is that why that was so tough to get out? It seems like you acknowledge there's this incoherence between us having a future that's known and us also having the ability to decide to do different things in any given moment.
Yeah, and he knows all the possibilities, so
Okay. Well, knowing all the possibilities isn't the same as knowing which possibility is going to happen.
for us, no.
Like I know all the cards in a deck of cards, right? Like I can name them off to you. And I know that if you draw from that deck, it's going to be one of these cards. I know all the possibilities, but that doesn't mean I have knowledge of what card is going to be drawn if someone draws off the top of the deck.
And furthermore, if you know which card they are going to draw ahead of time, did they ever have a choice? Like seriously, there's a literally line in the Matrix, right? When Neo knocks over the vase, right after the Oracle says, "Don't worry about the vase," he's like, "What vase?" Turns around and knocks it over, and he says, "I'm sorry." She says, "Don't worry about it." Now, what's really going to bake your noodle later is, would you have still knocked the vase over if I hadn't said anything? It's the same thing. If you know the outcome of something, then there is no free will.
Even counting cards, which is a totally unsupernatural way of telling the future in gambling.
And you
Is it in the
forgot that our
rules?
people also have that same free will and it can affect other people as well. We all have free will. We can do stuff.
How?
We can do that
How
to
do you
other
have free
people.
will? How do you have free will? I'm not even gonna go into the omniscient thing. If I literally hold you down, overpower you, I am physically, mentally stronger, more resourceful. I can do anything I want to you, and you know it. And then I just say, I need you to do this thing. Do you have a choice? If you know it, force it anyway.
Well, I'd say my free will's become more limited, but doesn't mean I don't have any choices.
Your free will has become limited, and if your free will is limited,
Doesn't mean I don't have any choices.
in the case of consent, if your free will is limited, you cannot give consent. And I don't really buy the idea of limited free will. You either have it or you don't. It's kind of a true dichotomy. But let's just say you can limit free will. I don't think you can, but let's say you could. You can't give consent. If your free will is limited in any way, you can't. You're incapable.
Well, don't assume that just because you can't do one thing, you can't do the opposite doesn't mean you don't have free will.
Game Master, if I told you I will shoot you in the head if you don't give me what's in your wallet, do you have a choice?
I can still try and fight, but hey, I can give you as little money as you want. I can give you my entire wallet. I can just give you my credit card.
Can I try another angle? I love this topic.
Please, by all means. I would love to see if somebody else can break through to the other side.
So, Game Master, if you're in a situation where it's possible for you to choose A or B, wouldn't you say that like there must be an element of chance involved? Like if you're 50% able to choose A, 50% able to choose B.
Oh yeah, that's basically it.
Right. So in a situation where you're fully choosing, like based off of your will, forget free will, just what you want to do, then it's going to have a 100% probability of happening, right? Because it's fully up to you.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So we have this situation where either your choice is fully determined, or it's not determined, which means it's partly random and therefore not up to you as well. It's a dichotomy that free will is logically impossible.
Where are you getting from this? Am I supposed to be getting from this? I'm not understanding.
Well, this is one of the harder ones. I have easier arguments as well, but I wanted to do this one because it's fun.
Machine Elf, do you watch T-Jump at all?
Yeah, I watch T-Jump a little bit. I'm not like a huge fan of T-Jump.
He renders this pretty frequently about free will.
Oh, he does? That's cool. Well, another quick one. Do you agree that your decisions are based off of the past and the present?
What? Alright.
Like when you make a choice, I didn't quite hear you. Like when you make a choice, do you agree that your choice is based off of your past experiences and your present circumstances?
Well, not always. You can make choices based on your, instincts right now.
Right,
Would that
that's
not
part
be
of
your
the
present
present.
circumstances?
Yeah. I mean, there's actually another objection you can make, and I'll just address it. You could say, oh, well, can't you make decisions based off your future plans? Well, your future plans are actually based off your past experiences. You're projecting past experiences into the future.
Okay,
so,
but doesn't mean, like, doesn't mean that you don't have free will just because things are based, because you personally base those things on your experiences.
it does, and the reason why is because you can't change the past in your present circumstances. They're already set in stone. Even the present is the past because you're taking in light like a fraction of a tiny millisecond after it's already happened. So you live in the past and you can't change the past. Therefore, you can't change what you choose.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I don't know why we got on this. Let's go back to the other topic probably.
I would like to go back to the main topic, but we pigeon walked a little bit away with the free will stuff because it was just trying to be used to drive home the concept of consent, which is entirely lost on Game Master. It doesn't seem like Game Master understands consent. Before we shift back into this, because we were talking about free will, I just happened to find a video of Machine Elf calling Truth Wanted about free will, and so I kind of feel like I have to share that link in here. At least that's what the title is. The title is Machine. Oh, sorry, no. Michael. Sorry, Machine Elf. You're the one who created the fucking playlist, I think.
Oh, did I create the playlist? Okay.
I think that's what it is. Machine Elf. Maybe I don't know. It says Machine Elf. Mike, is that you? Are you Michael?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it. Okay, the title is on here is Machine Elf. Michael, in parentheses, Michael calls in about free will. Truth Wanted with Chris Mallard and Kelly. So Chris Mallard and Kelly were on, and you called in.
Yeah, it was a good conversation, I think.
Yeah, I just because it was relevant, I felt like I should share it because you were talking about the topic. And the reason why I accidentally found that was because I was trying to get the stream for tonight, and I can't find it. Is there a link? Did somebody post the link for the stream tonight?
I will pull it up for you. 1 second.
Thank you.
I know which channel it's on.
So, while Vic is grabbing that for me, thank you very much, appreciate you. While Vic is grabbing that for me, let's get back to the original topic. Game Master, I don't think you understand what consent is, particularly when it comes to sexuality. So I want to ask you directly, as we get back onto the topic, can you please tell me what consent means to you?
Don't do this, and the guy says yes or no, you gotta respect it. Is that what? At least that's what I get.
I would say that's a very basic understanding of yes or no. Okay. I feel like it's a little problematic where you started off by saying the guy wants this and the girl says yes or no. Is it possible for a girl to, actually, sorry, I don't want to use girl, woman, man, woman, male, female, or well, not male, female, man, woman, adult, man or woman. Is it possible?
Man and women, adults, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to set the tone here. And also,
I know, I'm teasing.
Roger. So, you phrased it. Man wants to do this, then the woman says yes or no. I want to ask why. Why did you say man or woman about man wants to do this, woman says yes or no? Why was that in your definition of consent? I want to ask that question.
Oh, not just man and woman. It could be a man and a man, a woman and a woman. Works for everyone.
Could
Okay.
the woman potentially
So,
say
okay, sorry, go
something
ahead.
so sorry. Just wanted to flip it and say, could the woman ask for something that they want to do, and the man says yes or no? Does that also fit your description?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so it is capable for a woman to say to a man, I want to do these things, and then the man can say yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, just I wanted to clarify that. The way you phrased it, the way you gendered consent was concerning, but I'm glad we got there. Okay, so if consent is defined as simply giving a yes or no, do you think that's all it is? Or do you think there could be more nuance to consent?
Well, I mean, I think that's the easiest way people understand it. So,
Yeah.
Well, what
Game
if I
Master, do
said?
you think there's circumstances? I'm
I
sorry.
don't
go
know.
ahead.
Sorry. Sorry. Game
Let's
Master.
do
What
team
if?
first, and then Miss Non Sequitur.
I was just.
Thank you.
I hear where you're going. I'll avoid. I was just saying, Game Master, do you think that there's circumstances where a person could say yes, and you and I would both agree that consent wasn't there? Like we acknowledge that it's incomplete to just say it's either yes or no because you could like coerce a yes out of somebody.
well, who knows really? Better than the guy gets to say no.
Sorry, who knows what?
Oh yeah, you can coerce people.
Who
but
knows
doesn't
if
mean-
somebody can be coerced?
Okay, sure. So we can modify the definition a little bit from here, right? We can say it involves a yes or a no that is not coerced. There's no like force, threat of force, threats of any, you know what I mean? We're working from what you gave us towards a more nuanced definition that I think
All right,
we
yeah,
probably
fair
could
enough.
all agree.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
definitely what up his head,
Miss Non
yes.
Sequitur.
Oh no, we
Right.
covered it actually.
We all had the same thoughts there.
I think Dave has something that he'd like to jump in with.
Please.
You'll have to unmute
Alright,
yourself.
sorry. Yeah. No, sorry, I was clicking around the wrong buttons. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing I wanted to jump in with, and I don't want to interrupt the conversation, but for clarity purposes and that, Game Master, obviously this is directed towards you, but anybody else who has their thoughts afterwards, please jump in. But do you agree that there are problems, that consent is problematic when a person in a position of power, like somebody in the military who's above you, somebody who's a manager above you, somebody who is a person of political influence above you, when that person is requesting your consent, there is an influence of power, control, or their influence on your life. You understand my meaning of problematic with consent on that and why that's an issue.
I said condoned, commanded, and committed.
Yeah, I know.
Kinda
Thanks.
started with the committed.
Well, it's like before you could argue, you know, oh, well, he's, you know, above the law or whatever, right? Because he's God of the universe. But here he is telling us to do these things.
Well, I don't think he's above the law because, you know, obviously, I don't believe he exists, and if I did, I would say he exists, and then he's a fucking asshole, right?
Well, sure. But I mean, I guess I'm just repeating what I hear from people. He can do what he wants, you know. He owns the universe type of
It's just
thing.
gross. It's fucking gross.
But this is an instance of where we're being told. And have you had the chance to see this Game Master?
What you mean, which one?
The Versa game.
Have you looked it up yet?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so
We're not making these things up.
respond to JT.
It's how what's it called? How they're supposed to go to war, their doctrines. When you march up to attack city, it may give people an offer of peace. So yeah, give them a chance for
Don't break it down the middle. Read the whole fucking thing. Don't
Yeah.
stop in the middle and break down the middle.
here.
All of the context is necessary.
Start from the first. When you go to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an army greater than yours, do not be afraid of them, because the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt to be with you. When you're about to go into battle, the priest shall come forward and address the army. He shall say, Hear Israel, today you are going to battle against your enemies. Do not be faint-hearted or afraid. Do not panic or be terrified by them, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. The officer shall say to the army, Has anyone built a new house or not yet begun to live in it? Let him go home, or he may die in battle, and someone else may begin to live in it. If someone planted a vineyard and not begun to enjoy it, let him go home, or he may die in battle, and someone else enjoy it. If someone become pledged to a woman and not married her, let him go home, or he may die in battle, and someone else marry her. Then the officer shall add, Is not anyone afraid or faint-hearted? Let him go home, so that his fellow soldiers will not become disheartened too. When the officers have finished speaking to the army, they shall appoint commanders over it. When you march up to attack a city, make its people offer of peace. If they accept and open the gates, all the people in it shall be subject to forced labor and shall work for you. If they refuse to make peace and they engage you in battle, lay siege to that city. When the Lord your God delivers it into your hand, put to the sword all the men in it. As for the women, the children, the livestock, and everything else in the city, you may take these as and plunder for yourselves. And you may use the plunder the Lord your God gives you from your enemies. This is how you are to treat all the cities that are at a distance from you, and do not belong to nations nearby. However, the cities of the nation your Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave anything alive, anything that breathes. Completely destroy them. The Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, as Lord your God has commanded you.
Game Master, what happens of these women who become plunder? What becomes of them?
They get assimilated.
Because that's actually described in Deuteronomy 21, chapter 14.
You will be assimilated. Oh my god, I've got fucking 7 of 9 flashbacks. Please tell me that at least one of the assimilators has her tits.
Well, involves her head getting shaven, and she becomes a wife with other
I'm the cutest of Borg. Oh, wait, no. I am chapters 31, 17 through 18 must be understood within the cultural and historical context of the ancient Near East. You argue that these passages describe wartime practices or ancient customs rather than condoning or commanding rape. You have implied that the concept was not clearly understood or distinguished from other forms of sexual violence at the time. You have emphasized cherry-picked Bible teachings on the importance of consent, respect for women, and condemnation of sexual immorality, while
It's the assumption that God also causes bad things, which, of course, I highly disagree, but, well, the thing is, bad things will always happen. Bad people exist, and there's nothing we can't do anything to them. They're gonna keep existing till the end of time.
Yeah, I guess so. And I just, from
What I've seen, I see people come up with all sorts of different interpretations, and some are good and some are bad, relatively speaking, based on you know goals to uh, help the community and ensure each other's welfare
just,
and
from
try and
what I've
minimize
seen,
unnecessary suffering. Like I could see both occurring when someone quotes a verse to me and say that's the reason why you know you as a person don't matter, um and therefore
Am
they
I audible
can
now?
do whatever they want. That
Yes,
that could be a problem, right?
Oh,
Okay. I was trying to bust in earlier, real quick, about audiability. I just had a friend tell me that the stream itself. Give me a second. Who is listening? It's just I just tried to listen, but the audio is not really listenable. I can only hear the streamer's mechanical keyboard, not the people talking. But then as I started talking, got a text message that said better.
Yeah, no, I was working on the background and I just saw what was wrong.
Okay,
And
I was just trying to, like, somebody told me there were audio issues.
and I literally I heard the screeching noise. So anybody who's listening to it right now, who's sitting there intently, like with the volume turned up, I just made their ears bleed, and I apologize.
Okay, so yeah. Apologize for interrupting, Vic. It was a technical issue I wanted to address. Continue.
Yeah, no problem. I did at one point, I think there was another stream I saw where I could only hear Scotty's typing, which I don't know if that's
I
like
do know. I know
uh
last week. Like I could still hear the stream, but yeah, every time Scotty was typing, it was like.
Part of the problem is that for some reason OBS and Discord do not play nice together, and or
I have
not
had
OBS
that
but
issue.
Streamlabs. And I keep having to go back and rechange my defaults and change my sources because when I close them down and come back, they've all changed again. Like it seems like they just do it randomly. So, yeah.
To my followers who are paying attention, because I know I got a couple. Y'all know we've had the same problems.
So I need to get more a better of a pre-show check and see what everything's going on, and I just hadn't done that, and since I had to run away to go pick up my kid and all that stuff. So apologies.
Yay.
If it makes anyone feel any better, I've heard nothing but voices.
Yeah, the Discord's been running fine here, but unfortunately,
right.
the source to push the Discord to YouTube has been Streamlabs, and it's been So
yeah, this is we're talking about. Sorry, my stutter just fucking went on overdrive there. This is the YouTube push out that we're talking about. Yeah, you're not gonna have any problems in Discord. We're all hearing each other on Discord, but there were audio issues on the Discord stream, or sorry, the YouTube stream. But seems like we fixed them.
Yeah, I need somebody to check it on the other side and say, hey, Scotty, you suck, and fix it. Or, hey, it's working fine. So, and I just didn't do that this time. We just kind of did our thing, and off we went.
Well, hey, you know what? Shout out to my buddy Coochie Mane, who alerted me to the audio issues.
Feel free to send me a...
Love you, Dominic.
Thanks, Dom. Feel free to send me a personal message and say, hey, fucktard, fix your shit.
Yeah. DM Scotty for all problems with the audio.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm the genius over here, so apologies. Do we remember where we were before we went off of a tangent, or?
I am so sorry for that interruption, but yeah, you know what.
No problem. I'm just about to hand it back over. I wanted to make sure that we got Game Master's main points here. And so what I wanted to ask, I think this is probably my last line of questioning. If God makes his commands clear through doctrine, correct? Through doctrine?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it clear through doctrine, because, I mean, that's the only source that I've ever been exposed to that, I mean, assuming that you also believe in the Christian Bible. Um,
Yeah.
if he makes his commands clear through doctrine, if people are coming away with various interpretations that, even by your standards, so just your standard alone, could be negative or positive, is it still clear?
Well, I'd say it's more to the people. It's more because of the people. They have their own. I mean, we make sense the world differently. All right.
But
They
what do you mean by clear then, when God makes his commands clear?
well, it's either you take it as the advice it is, or you reject it. That's how it goes.
Okay, so whatever they're seeing, should they all be seeing the same advice? Like they should all interpret it the same?
Well, yeah, it should be. Yeah.
But we do see that people are taking different interpretations, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have all these denominations, I would say.
Well, they're all going their own parts. I'd say. One's more spiritual, one's more, pra- practical. I'd say.
There 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 are a lot of differences, and a lot of them have different interpretations of doctrine. Um, uh, this is just coming from someone who grew up uh, with my mother running a multi-faith organization where all sorts of different denominations would all work together, and they would all bicker and argue over the same piece of doctrine. So if there was like, one verse, they would argue over what that verse meant.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely disagreements on what the verses mean. So if it's clear, maybe it's not so much just about like whether they accept it or reject it, right?
Well, yeah, but I guess to each their own. People are different after all. But even then, you can always ask them.
I think the fact that we have so many uh disagreements about what any particular verse may say, it's maybe not coming across as clear, especially when people will say, I live my life, by God's commands in the Bible. And if you have two people saying that, you can see like two totally different lifestyles, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that, especially when we're talking about something that wasn't we're not looking at something in its original language. So anytime there's going to be translations, it's not going to be 100% clear. So the fact that the Old Testament is in both Hebrew and in Aramaic, ancient Hebrew at that, and that the New Testament is in Koine Greek, um, we are combining two different, you know, totally different theological sources, and in addition to very different translations. I mean, look at all of the different translations we have, and some of them will change the meaning of a verse, right?
But you also gotta remember. But you also gotta remember what God is like, what He expects from us too.
How do we remember that?
By reading the script.
But the scripture is what we're struggling to understand with all these different, translations and all that.
Well, to be honest, yeah, I'm not really sure, but it's clear on God's nature is already clear enough. We already have that, and read the Bible with that in mind. We have to read the Bible with that in mind.
We have to read the Bible with the Bible in mind. Is that what you mean?
With God's nature, while knowing what God's nature is supposed to be, what God
Like,
nature is like.
sorry, I just wanted to ask. You said that we know God's nature through the Scripture, right?
Well, yeah, yeah. To be honest, I'm not so sure, but that's the point. Is just keep in mind of God's nature, and
How do we
with
know
that in
God's
mind,
nature?
Go ahead, Miss non sequitur.
I was just wondering, how can we be sure of God's nature?
I mean, it's not through Scripture at the same time. So, well, I don't know. We could retranslate things. Things can be retranslated. Language is hard to keep up.
What are we
I think-
retranslating?
Yeah, I think the struggle is we're not really sure. Like, we don't have an original to look at, and anytime you translate languages, people are going to have a different interpretation of that language.
Yeah, but yeah,
and,
exactly.
And even
Same.
throughout, sorry.
Well, I suppose
But
my issue isn't merely that something could get lost in translation. It's that you're making an inherently circular appeal then, if you're like talking about where God's nature is.
Well, yeah, that's the problem here.
Scripture. It doesn't matter how many times you translate it or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. I saw that coming. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of why I brought up why we're struggling here, because we don't have something to reference when we're looking at something and we want to make sure that we're looking at it right. We need something else that we know is right to reference. But how can we do that with the same thing that we're looking at? You see what I'm saying?
And even if we...
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Even if we go by the Bible as it is, God's nature has changed throughout the Bible itself in our current translation. So how do we reconcile that?
Most of the time, I just say, have a little faith. I guess.
What does that mean to you?
Well, sure, but when's the most recent writing in the Bible?
I'd say have a little faith. I don't know. Some things you just can't, take a logical look at it.
How do you know that God's nature right now isn't drastically different from the most recent writing in the Bible, if it changed so much in the span that the Bible was written? And if you don't have any modern scripture to rely on, how can you make any claims about, you know what I mean, what his nature is now?
Well, all the scripture is pretty clear on what his nature is supposed to be like.
Oh, I thought you just...
I disagree.
I'm sorry, I thought you just acknowledged that his nature changed throughout the Bible.
No.
I might have misheard you.
No. He's the same being till the end.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So in the Old Testament
nothing.
and the New Testament,
Yeah.
his nature was just the same?
Yeah. I'll find
Yeah?
only. Yeah.
What is his nature
So
again?
let's burn the babies and let's save all humanity? That's just equal?
Yeah, I don't know which verse you're taking this from. Burning babies.
Okay, not burning, drowning.
Egyptians. Exodus.
Noah's flood.
The flood?
No, the flood. Well, What do you expect?
I guess I kind of
Those
expect
those people are.
some consistency.
I mean, what do you expect? People are evil.
From what?
Game Master, you can appreciate how "what do you expect" is an unsatisfying response, right? Like, if we're
Well,
being
people
honest.
are evil. Bad thing.
So
People are evil,
everyone
and
is evil.
Is God evil?
Well, whose fault was that?
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Because the book
one at a
says that
time.
the book says that God acknowledges and that it was his problem there, and it says that he did it because he regretted making humans.
And the rainbow was his promise never to do it again. because
Yeah,
he was
so
sad that he did
Motherfuck,
it.
I've been muted.
So people are
Yeah.
evil, but we get to bear the brunt of whose mistakes?
oh yeah, that's
Okay.
we. Look, we all got all the we got our
Okay,
we all have our own
let me ask you a
tendencies at the
question.
same time.
Yeah. So
Okay,
sorry. Just
let
remember,
me ask you a
Game
question.
Master is only one person. So
Sure.
he's doing
I
a great job
apologize.
answering our questions.
You are doing great,
Just
actually.
yeah.
Game
just
Master,
remind-
you're
He's
awesome.
trying.
You are doing
He's
great.
trying.
You really are. I appreciate you. I promise.
So thank
I
you
have
so
a
much
question.
for tolerating us.
Hello, am I
Yeah.
heard?
Go ahead,
Am I
Setmer.
audible? Oh, okay. Well, no. I was actually having mic issues, so I wasn't sure. Okay. So, Game Master, do you believe God is triomni? He is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving.
Yes.
Okay. Is there somebody in your life that you love?
Mm,
Mother, father, sister, brother,
hold
partner,
on. Let's call-
niece, nephew, child. I honestly, you're 19. I really hope
Wait,
the
wait,
last
wait.
one.
Give me a moment. My mom's calling me. Just as you said
Okay.
that.
You know, timing is sometimes impeccable, even serendipitous.
Yeah,
That's
no,
kind of sweet, actually. Go talk to your
Yeah,
mommy.
no,
We'll hear from
please.
you when
I
you
mean,
get back.
that sounded
We'll chat amongst
that
ourselves.
sounded bad, but
Yes, I can hold this thought.
No, I love my mom. I talk to her every day. I get it.
I do too. Mine too. Yes.
Yeah,
love
I
my
talk to your mom every day
and,
too.
I'm a mammy's boy.
Had to. No, not
Seriously.
to usurp the conversation or garner sympathy, but on a very regular basis, I am my mom's taxi to and from chemo. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
My hardcore Mormon mom is my very best
Mhm.
friend.
you know, I love that, and you and I could probably have amazing conversations about
I bet.
our hardcore Mormon mothers, because
And I'd love to.
oh man, honestly, if we do get past this, it wouldn't be a horrible second topic.
Oh yeah, that might be fun. That might be a fun
I'm
icebreaker.
good to go now, apparently. So my mom
Yeah,
wants me to go.
no.
I was baptized.
Okay.
I was
Sorry.
raised baptized.
Hold on one
Game
second.
Master
Game
is
Master.
back.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
say
Yes.
anything else?
Okay, 100%. Come on back to us.
Oh yeah, my mom just invited me to go to lunch, so I'm not sure how much time I have left, but all right, I'll
Okay,
try and make it.
You know, and if we don't finish this conversation tonight, that's fine. You have been, I want to say, at the very least, even though I don't agree with you on a lot of things, you've been a very honest interlocutor. So I'm gonna give that to you, and I appreciate you for it. And I would love to continue this conversation another time, pick it up from where we left off, if possible. But if you do have to leave soon, I want to finish, if I can, especially since you and I were the progenitors of this conversation. I want to finish by asking you. We talked about, God is all knowing, all powerful, all loving. And I asked you, is there somebody in your life that you love? And the fact that your mom called in at that time was fucking beautiful. The fact that you're going to lunch with her, even better. So, do you love your mother?
Yeah.
Would you say that you love her unconditionally?
Well, I have my experiences, but yeah, I suppose.
So, there's nothing that your mother could do to you that would make you stop loving her. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, all right, sure.
So, let's say you go to lunch today and your mother says, I've always hated you. I'm cutting you out of the will. You're dead to me.
I move on.
I, in fact, am so disappointed in you as a child that I am going to send you to a prison where you will be tortured for eternity or the rest of your existing days, whatever you want to look at. If your mother did that to you, would you still love her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, she's my mom, okay? Remember all the bad
So
things
if
she
your
did.
mom just says, I'm disappointed in you, you were never a good son, you fucked up in everything that I expected you to do, and so I have arranged for you to be imprisoned and tortured, you would still love your mother.
Yeah. But for the things I'm angry at, I'm still angry. But she's still my mom.
Dude, that's fucking gross.
If your mom
I
said,
mean, I think
if
it's
your mom,
fucking nuts, but I gotta believe you.
I
if your mom
believe he's
said,
being honest, and that's what's fucking gross.
I do too. If
I'm
your,
sorry, non sequitur. Go ahead.
sorry. If
I was
your mom
never-
said,
No.
no, Game Master, listen to me. If your mom said, yesterday you talked bad about me. You've been a wonderful son your entire life, but yesterday you talked bad about me and you don't feel sorry. So I'm going to send you to this prison where you'll be tortured forever. Would that be fair?
Get used to disappointment.
What the fucking A, man?
You want? Let me just clarify. You
No.
think that
Well,
it's
get used
just
to disappointment. Get used to disappointment was a line that he dropped to dismiss an earlier conversation between him and Scotty yesterday. It was so fucking wow, dude. Like you, okay. I said you've been an honest interlocutor right here. Fuck, dude, that just destroyed that compliment right there. You cannot answer this
Yeah,
question
it's
honestly.
not fair. It's not fair. Nothing is ever fair.
So why worship a God who doesn't who doesn't? You say he's all loving. He's all powerful and he's all knowing, but he's not fair? Why? Why is that something that you put your faith in? I want the answer to the question, why?
No, life is not
Why?
fair.
No. Why do you put your faith into a deity who claims to be all loving, but does that?
Because he wants me to be stronger.
Wait,
how does that
Game
make you
Master,
stronger?
why, what's the point of all this?
How does
Seriously.
hell for eternity make you stronger?
The threat of
What you said?
hell
What
makes you stronger?
What doesn't
like,
kill
can't
you?
we conform to God's will and have free will and also never sin?
Well, yeah. to
Then
stumble
why
and
isn't
follow
that the
him.
situation that every human is in?
If God is all knowing, all powerful, he can do anything. He knows everything and can do anything. Could he not have made a world that
No, he did
this
make the.
wasn't
No, stop it.
necessary?
He did make this world. Game Master.
Right.
Is there? Do you have free will in heaven?
Yeah?
No. but no,
Is there?
sorry.
Yes. Is there sin in heaven?
No.
Okay. So what's the fucking point of this world? God is capable. God not only is God capable
another
of making
line.
a world without sin, that preserves your free will.
Let's let JT go for a little bit, because
Well, I'm just
Mhm.
curious here.
Mhm.
What's the point of all? You acknowledge that not only is it possible, but it has been done by your God. It's actually the next phase if you just pass the trial here. So, what exactly is the point of the trial?
It's to be morally good.
Well, no, but
But God isn't
if he
morally
makes
good.
if he just makes only the world where we have free will but there's no sin, then we're just by definition already morally good, because we by definition conform to God's will by being incapable of sin, but also, as you've acknowledged, free will is preserved.
Just because he can't do bad things anymore doesn't mean free will doesn't exist.
Wait.
You can't do bad things anymore?
No.
That
Whoa.
Anymore?
You've said
Can't-
that in heaven
can't.
free will exists and there's no sin. My whole criticism is, why is that not the only world?
I don't know.
And I gotta throw this in. You said he can't do this anymore. Is he all powerful? Is God all powerful? Is God all powerful? Yes or no question.
I didn't say I can't do this anymore. What?
No.
Yeah, he
Is
is all
God all
powerful.
powerful? Yes or no?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So why can't he do something?
Just because God doesn't share the same traits we have doesn't make him any less perfect.
No. If he's all powerful, why is there something he can't do?
Because he relented. It's not he can't do it. He chose not to do anything about it. For us.
Why?
Why would he choose?
Because he loves us. He respects us.
It's literally
Oh,
just
he-
it's
he-
literally just a God's already capable of making a world without sin that preserves free will, and the only thing is there's a gullibility trial beforehand.
Alright, look, I gotta prepare myself soon.
Fair
No,
enough.
no,
let him
listen,
go.
I get
Game
it.
Master,
You gotta go.
you really, no, honestly, I appreciate you, Game Master. You have been pretty awesome as far as things go, and you should go to lunch with your mother, and you should have a good time and tell her how much you love her, because that
I
is
agree.
what makes people happy. So,
I agree that he should do
full
those
life.
things. I am still going to say your beliefs are fucking gross. This is something I have said repeatedly to you in text, because
that too.
you are a rape apologist. Whether you like that term or not, you have been apologizing to rape for how long is this? What time is it? It is. Yeah, you've been going for about an hour, if not an hour and a half, being a rape apologist,
I'm gonna
and
go
that
now.
is what you have been doing. So,
Alright, I'm gonna go now, yeah.
I, whether or not you agree with me saying that you are a rape apologist, the reason why I invited you to this conversation, the reason why I wanted other people to witness it, is because I have been saying you are a rape apologist, and now
Yeah,
a lot of
I'll be
other
going
people
now.
have
I'll
heard
see you
you
later.
be a rape apologist.
Already back down.
Oh, he did say you have to go. You had to go, so
He did say he had to go, and those were my final words of the conversation I wanted to have with him.
I'm just gonna say, Game Master, if you watch this back, I think that the answers you provided are bad. I think you probably can see why we think that they're bad, and please think about them for more time if you hear this.
I have repeatedly asked him. One of the things that I at the end, seriously, and Scotty can back me up. For the last 5 days, at the end of each day, I have asked him this question. Please take some time to self-reflect and ask yourself, why is every person I talk to in this channel saying that I am being a rape apologist? Ask yourself that question. And he kept coming back with, I guess my phrasing was bad. Like, no. It has nothing to do with your phrasing. You are being a rape apologist. You are providing apologetics for rape.
Yeah, at some point or another, it's just like that's the semantic meaning of like the sentences you're saying. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I had
Well, no,
asked
there was
for
even
a
an argument.
confirmation.
Sorry, go ahead, Vic.
I was just gonna say we had that conversation where I asked him for clarity. What would he prefer? What's wrong with it? What does he feel when he hears that? So I asked him, "What's the problem with rape apologetics?" And he said, "Well, it implies that I condone it." And I said, "Okay, so what part of it does apologetics to you mean that you condone something?" And he was like, "Well, I don't know, maybe, not necessarily." And I said, "Okay, let's take this back. Let's strip it to, the Trinity apologetics. What's wrong with the term Trinity apologetics? Do you condone the Trinity when you say that you're apologizing for it?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, like, that I am defending it." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. So
He just
this
doesn't
is
like the
subject we're talking
connotation
about."
there. It sounds like it's clear that he's condoning it conditionally, under the
He just
circumstance
doesn't
that
like
either
it
his
being
God
called
does
out.
it, or his God's people are commanded to do it.
He's just uncomfortable with it being called out.
Yeah, like that's Vic. That's what's happening. He is condoning it. It's just
And that's what I wanted
there's
to
like
expose.
right,
That's why in
specific
my-
conditions that need to be met in order for it to be chill.
It's unfortunate. I do feel bad that it was just, one against a bunch of skeptics. That's why I wanted to make sure that, there were some
I think
times
you
where
did a
everyone
great
started
job with
asking
that.
questions. But thank you. I do appreciate that. And I thank you guys for working with me on that. I wanted to make sure that no one feels like they're being dogpiled.
Well,
And I really wanted to make sure it wasn't a one-on-one, because I know, like, if it was a one-on-one moderated debate, I would have fucking destroyed it. Like, that's not what I was out. I wanted him to get the opportunity to hear different perspectives on his really shitty fucking ideas. That was the whole fucking point of this tonight.
I think you're expecting way too much introspection. I don't think he's even capable of that much. Like,
Okay,
I think
sure,
Kelly's
maybe not him, but we got listeners.
Kelly's right. I mean, it did feel like low hanging fruit. He just doesn't have the ability to look at his what he thinks and see it from anybody else's point of view other than his own. I don't think he has that ability at all.
I will
Well, to be
agree.
clear,
that
I don't think
Pope-
he's prepared for this
sorry.
at all. There was his opening statement was that the Bible doesn't like condone or command these things, and we just went down a whole list of places where not only did God do it, but God told people to do it. God said it was okay if people did it.
If he was unprepared, that's on him, because again, I've been talking with him about this topic for if not 7 days, at least 6. So let's just round up to a week.
Well, sure, I'm not saying it was like unfair because he was unprepared. I'm just saying it's the type of person you're talking to.
Sure.
I was surprised he showed up at all, and the fact that he stuck around and
sure he would.
he stuck around and kept getting beat up on. I get giving him kudos for that, but I don't think he made.
Yeah.
I don't think he made himself look any better. I think.
No, I don't think he did. Yeah.
So.
But I felt it was important that it was, because there were some things that were exchanged personally, and now that he is not part of the conversation, in the Discord. He also opened a thread a month ago.
Well, actually, may I say something before
Go
you
ahead,
say? Okay, sorry.
by all means.
I only met him in this chat, and from this chat alone, I kind of got the feeling that maybe he was saying what he was taught, but he might have been thinking. That's where all the pauses came from. Other things.
I thought
I
that
agree,
at
but he
first
leaned back on the
too.
divine command theory, and that was
Yeah.
just kind of like
I think it's wishful.
completely
It's a
different
tough nut
from his
to
initial
crack at
position.
best.
I think it's wishful
Well, yeah,
thinking
it's
on
a
your
tough nut
part.
to crack, but it's like that's not the position he came in here with. So he had in his mind. That's what I'm saying is I don't either he didn't plan at all, or he reverted on an argument that he didn't have prepped.
I just wanted
But
to say
anyway,
that
like I
before
said,
I was
last night, I
affected by
very
any other
specifically-
information.
Sorry.
Sure.
One person at a
But
time,
very
if you can.
specifically last night, I was like, okay, we've got to a point where, this back and forth that him and I were having wasn't getting anywhere. So I wanted to try and change the dynamic of it somehow. Vic graciously offered to be moderator, so that's where it went tonight. But what was really important to me, because I know I'm not gonna, I know honestly, here's the thing: he has rubbed so many people the wrong way in text because I mentioned the transphobic comments he made. There was he opened a thread 30 days ago. That's the topic of the thread was trans rights are extra privilege, something like that. Oh shit! I
Oh, he said
realized I
some
could
pretty
scroll down and
nasty
look at
stuff
it.
about that. But honestly, what I
Yeah.
hear from him saying that sort of stuff, I'm
Oh, special
hearing
privileges.
like red pill talking points a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think he's gone down a certain like red pill funnel
Yeah.
where he's
But the
listening to
thing,
all these people talk about it this way, and I'm just hearing them regurgitate it.
the thing that disturbed me the most, and as many people in the chat already, and some people listening might already know, I'm a combat veteran. I have a thread in the Discord, an AMA, asking anything, ask a veteran anything. I anticipated I would get this question eventually.
Oh yeah.
But when it came from him, it was like I knew I was going to get the question. But when it came from him, there was like an excitement in his back and forth. And we did go a little bit back and forth. He asked me, what does it feel like to kill somebody? And that was a huge fucking red flag for me. Now, my response was to say like, hey, this is not a topic I feel comfortable about discussing in detail. Yes, I have killed people. I'm not shy about that fact. I have experience taking human life, but it is not something that I really want to share with anybody but my therapist. What that makes me feel like, but I do want to share. It makes me feel compelled, and this is how I responded to him. It makes me feel compelled to tell people why you should never ask a veteran that question, because when you ask a veteran that question, you are asking that person to relive the potentially most traumatic experience of their life for the sake of your curiosity. So there are veterans like me, I'm not going to do it here on YouTube right now, who are willing to share some traumatic experiences in public, and I have done so in certain forums. But the thing that bothered me was this. It wasn't just like simple curiosity. Like I was a teacher for 7 years, right? I had students who knew I was a veteran who would come up to me and be like, hey, Mr. Spaeth, have you ever killed anybody? And I had an expectation of that question being asked of me by young, immature people, and I was prepared for it, and I gave them the same answer, right? I never had a student listen to my response in a way that made me feel like they wanted to do it. I cannot say the same for Game Master. Game Master made me feel like he was asking me because he wanted to.
Yeah. I got the feeling that he was wanting to learn how to get to that point.
Huge red flag. Just for me, again, nothing to do with the theistic comments, but vaguely referring to the transphobic comments, and then literally him engaging me in a conversation that made me feel like he was asking advice on how to be a killer.
That's dangerous. I appreciate you stopping that conversation where it was, because if it had gone any further, he would have started crossing into TOS violations there.
Well, no shit.
So
I would have started crossing into my own violations, to be very clear.
Yeah. So we definitely we don't want to have discussions about like how to hurt people and things like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he was seeking that in conversation. I will say this out loud to everybody listening. It sucks. Fucking sucks taking a human life. Whether you wanted to or not, I didn't want to. I was in a position where I needed to, but man, you never forget it. You never live it down. Every fucking moment of that part of your life will return to you on a regular basis. Don't fucking do it.
I've never served or anything like that, but I spent time in drug recovery communities, and because of the adjacency between drug addiction and like PTSD type stuff, I know better than to ask specific questions about those experiences.
Can I,
Honestly,
before
at
we change
19,
topics? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he claims he's 19. I mean, he sounds like he's in his older teens. You kind of don't. That's not something.
Yeah, that's super
that
I will
alarming.
say, based on previous conversations that I had with him, if I remember correctly, he said he was 19.
Yeah, he said he was 19.
I do want to say before we change before we change topics, because I know somebody wanted to talk about Mormon mothers, and I'm so down to talk about Mormon mothers. But because it came up, and because I have an opportunity to share my own spotlight here, I do have a poem that I wrote about my own struggle with PTSD and whatnot, and like, fuck it, we're recording, we're live, and I want to take that time.
Please.
So give me a second as I pull up the text.
Yeah, if it's the one you shared,
Yes,
I don't
that
think
one.
it's anything that would be against YouTube terms of service. I don't think he's saying anything that's
No.
Oh.
I worked on this poem for 10 years with my lit professor from when I was an undergrad. He and I are still friends, and he helped me refine this poem for 10 years. So
Maybe careful
go ahead.
with the wording around certain self-harm devices.
Okay,
If you know what I'm
so
referring to.
I do think I know what you're referring to. So I will say, just as a friendly trigger warning, this poem contains references to drug abuse and self-harm.
But also, didn't you want to put this on your other channels?
I'm gonna put like my recordings from this show on my other channels. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Oh,
as
like
far
this
as words
poem?
go.
Oh, I've already
Yeah.
published this poem. I've already
Oh,
published
okay.
this poem. This poem's out there. It's been
No,
out there for a bit.
yeah. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you. You're good looking out. All right, cool. So the poem is titled "Nailed Down" by David Spade. I go by Dave, but like when I write, I'm more formal. Anyway, "Nailed Down" by David Spade. A nail bends under the weight of things that get hanged up on it, pounded into a plywood wall to hang a rifle, a helmet, dog tags. Coming home to those who nailed Jesus to cardboard and thank him for a soldier's death. It bends again under the weight of a noose nailed to the ceiling. Nail holes for multiple attempts, nail holes I won't call back, nail holes till they get filled, pounded, and opened, and widened, and emptied. Empty holes, empty vials, empty bags, empty bottles, empty bed of nails. Nail in my arm opens a vein, nail in my hand opens a hole, nail in my head where a bullet should have been. The things we carried were only half as heavy as the things we buried. A soldier who dug a hole for a friend and filled it with the only atheist to exit a foxhole. The nail bends again until it's bent so deep it can never be pounded into a coffin again. I'll go ahead and copy paste that and drop it in the chat.
Snaps.
Oh my god, that was powerful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, worked on it for 10 years before publishing it. I originally wrote it in 2014 and published it last year.
Can I share it with my brother, who is also a veteran?
By all means. I am not jealous with my publication. Just don't be like nailed down by Jessica Smith or something, right? Like
No. No.
As long as
Not by
my
Ms.
name is
Non-Sequitur.
still under the title, as long as my name is still under the title, I feel that I am being respected. That is my response.
I would never ever.
Yeah, it is a published poem, so if it is being shared, as long as it's not being claimed by somebody else, I feel just like if you were sharing some Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? You're just like, hey, here's an Emerson poem, here's a Spaeth poem. Right, so I'm gonna take it that way.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Anyway,
by the way,
let's open the Mormon mom thing. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
just a quick aside, and then go right ahead. Do you prefer, like, just in conversations on here, would you prefer Dave, Sapper? Because we've got another
Dave or Sapper. That's one of the reasons why, like I know, because Secular Dave, Simply Secular Dave, right? I'm good with Sapper. Sapper is something I've gone by as a nickname for ages, but Dave is what I go by when I'm talking to people who are not online.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'll respond to either, and it has been confusing sometimes when people say Dave, and I'm just like, what? Oh, no. Not me.
On the topic of Mormon moms, I'm just curious: does anyone here come from a Latter-day Saints background?
Yeah, that was the
really okay.
Yeah,
I am so interested because I got interested recently, or at least in the last year or so, in street epistemology, and I like going and having conversations, kind of like some of the ones we've had here, like just out in the world.
And the moment
I don't really like
to do that.
Well, I guess I'm scared to do that, and it's like I guess I worry about like, yeah, that's why I think I thumbs up that last week when you held that up. Okay, yeah, so it's something I'm into, and it's but I guess I don't like to try to go bug people, right?
What?
It would be cool to set up my own little booth where people approach me, but I like to feel like people are
those missionaries. They want you to bug them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And so I like to feel like people are having the conversation in a way that like they want to be here as well, right? Even if
Sorry.
the motivation is different. And so I find that like I go to university right now, and on my campus there's a lot of Jehovah's Witness and a lot of LDS missionaries. But both of those two groups, and I don't really confront people like in class, but both of those two groups, when they're doing mission work, I've found that they're just like really open to these sorts of conversations. And I thrive a lot off of like learning street epistemology from just like practicing with them. And I'll just say like I'm fascinated by the Mormon
They're
Church.
great
their
to sharpen
tradition.
your claws on.
Yeah, I go down. I've actually gone down. They have like a kind of I guess a society or a student organization on campus, and it's in like an old dorm house, or it's an old fraternity house, and I've gone down in their basement and had conversations with them. But it's just I've learned that it's really fascinating and very. No, they haven't fed me, but it was really empty, and it was off season. No, it was off season when I went actually inside. But I talked to them a lot, and I'm just in general I'm fascinated with having those kind of SE conversations, but also just their theology more broadly. And it's so interesting to see how kind of bought in they are to it. I wonder how that all works, I guess.
Before we jump into the Mormon conversation really quick, I just want to acknowledge that after Game Master said that he had to go to lunch with his mom, he went to chat into the debate discussion and engage with a person defending he's trying to defend why he called somebody. He said, "Yup, it tells how much of a piece of shit you actually are." That he said to I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Zigya, XGYA. Yeah. So he had time to like just go like call another group member a piece of shit.
Couldn't respond to criticisms, but was able to type out it.
He might have.
He was able to go have an argument about.
Where was this? What chat is this? I only see
the debate discussion.
Yeah.
No, but he came back to defend it. He came back to defend it at 9:05, which is 4 minutes ago.
Yes. Yep.
And maybe they may be on their phone remotely, right? Like.
No, I'm just saying it's annoying that he was avoiding.
I suppose. They could be
and then
or something.
But then he had the time to jump in and go argue with Ziga over that. That's what I'm getting at. Like it just bothered me. Sorry.
I understand your point, but let's try to be gracious and generous. You don't know what the situation is, how far their mom is, whether they're walking, they're on the bus, they're in an Uber. Come on, like that. There's better things to worry about than that.
You're right.
Point.
It just bothers me.
One thing I will say about Game Master, there was 3 or 4 times during that conversation where they brought up the clarity of the word of the Lord in the Bible. Or words to those effect. And I felt like that was a door open that we missed the opportunity to explore. Not exploit, but explore.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Really good questions attached
I wanted to.
We joked about it in the chat, but it never.
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask if the Bible is so clear, why don't I understand it?
Or at the very least, why do so many people who do believe in the Bible disagree on what it says?
Well, there's
that is why God wants us to understand.
Yeah, no, Dave's right. There's so much like wrapped up in that discussion that it's.
Right, but I want him to finish his sentence. Both of us cut him off.
Yeah, sorry.
Which sentence?
You were talking about
no. I was saying if there is an opportunity to delve into that with Game Master in the future, I don't want to go in there guns a-blazing with a big steamroller behind me in that, but I want to ask some pertinent questions. And you'll notice, like when I was talking to them about the consent and the problem of consent and the problem of authority. I kept saying, like, you understand this, you agree with me here, you can kind of bring them along step by step through the conversation, involve them and let them know, I'm not attacking you, I'm trying to establish ground with you, right? I think
that was my general
during that conversation,
I tried.
During that part of the conversation, we made some lively headway, I would call it. I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But-
And I would love to, and I very specifically, I was like, I want to be able to pick up the conversation where we left off with him. I'm not dismissing him entirely. I will say, of all the people in the Discord, in this Discord that I consider friends, most of those people have DM'd me and said, "Holy shit, you have more patience talking with this dude than I ever could have." Because how do I put this? He's fucking 19. He's still a kid. He still has time to maybe see things differently. And
Hopefully.
I'm kind of like, I'm latching onto that, even though he's a frustrating
Sapper.
person to talk to. Sorry, go ahead.
Listen, I am 21. I'm a young, impressionable kid. I think me and you should have a debate.
Let's have that topic and conversation established later when I have not already began myself crossfading over what that was.
Take your time. But listen, once you're done with this religion talk, me and you, we're going to go at it, okay?
About what's the topic?
In my mind, I think there's only two appropriate topics for me and you to debate. I think it's the ethical, the ethical, whatever you want to call it, of lolicon or bestiality. All right, two very contentious topics. I think we'll disagree on it.
I don't know what lolicon is, and am
I'll teach you. I'll show you.
against
I'll show
Are
you.
these
bestiality.
in the context of this debate? Or are these like entirely?
Absolutely not.
drawn?
You guys are talking about some religion
Okay.
thing.
No, in the
Why-
context
why
of this
would people
debate,
do that?
are we
He doesn't
assuming
know
these are
already.
entirely drawn?
Well,
One
no,
at a
but I
time.
don't want to. I don't want to agree to debating a topic I don't know anything about.
Then we can
You're saying
default to
lolicon
bestiality
or-
then.
Well, okay, I'm against it.
What
What
kind
are
of
you pro
debate about
bestiality? 'Cause I'm
bestiality?
I
against
think
it.
bestiality is morally neutral.
Okay, that is a fucking topic for another day then.
Another day is in like when you're done with this, or another day like actually another day.
Actually, another day. No, I'm not
What?
prepared
Come
for that conversation
on.
right
Come
now.
on.
I am not.
Imra,
I am
are you a
not-
moral
Bestiality.
realist?
I am not prepared.
Am I a
for that
moral
conversation
realist?
right
What do you
now.
think
Yeah,
moral realism means?
I think.
Okay, we're having this
I think
conversation.
if you're a moral
I wanted to
realist,
have the
you
No,
conversation.
no,
with
no.
moral
I don't think
facts
we
today.
should.
No,
I think
no,
this
let's
is
not
what,
entertain
just what he
this.
wants.
No, let's not entertain this.
I believe
I'm not-
if you're a moral realist, that means you think
No.
that there exist truth makers for moral statements.
Stop.
Or
stop,
normative
stop,
claims.
stop,
I'm not
stop,
talking
stop,
about this.
Do you, I'm not. I don't think like
stop.
objective morality exists. I guess. Let Sapper finish his discussion with whoever he was
Yeah,
talking to, though.
Sure.
We were going to
Can
have
I
a
make a
conversation
suggestion that you
about
go
Mormon
into the
moms.
debate
That was like
discussion?
literally, yeah.
One
Thank
at a
you,
time,
but-
please.
That was so out there, dude.
Wait, okay, is he gone?
Nope, I'm still here.
Not gone.
I
but-
said you guys
No.
can talk. I'm not. I'm quieting down.
Okay, cool. So, we were gonna talk about Mormon moms, and I feel like I've talked a shit ton, so I don't want to start the topic. So please, by all means, you begin.
Who?
Who was I talking about Mormon moms with?
I will talk
Me? But I've talked a
You,
bunch
yes.
too, so.
No, but that was. I am trying to talk about something, anything other than bestiality. Okay.
Okay, I love
Let's-
my mommy. She is a super, super duper faithful, like hardcore LDS, like pictures of temples on the wall mom. And I love her to
Mhm.
death. And she's super smart. She has a master's degree. My dad has a
Mhm.
doctorate. And somehow
Mm. And somehow.
they were still super duper Mormon.
Right. Oh man. So. I definitely got. I've got a story. I've got a story, and I'm a storyteller. But I want other people to have opportunities to talk. There are two things in particular that I have had, because I agree with you. My mom, same, like hardcore into the church. I love her to death, and But I
Smart
can still
people.
get frustrated. I can still get frustrated with her. But
Right.
I will still bend over backwards. Like I said, I on a weekly basis, I'm her ride to chemo. Like and we have conversations on these trips, and I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of moral guilt that I'm gonna swallow on this one, but when I'm driving her, captive audience, right? Um, uh, I do respect her enough when she says, I don't want to talk about this, we're done. I will end the conversation. But I do take opportunities to try and like push at some of her beliefs. One of the biggest issues between us was in 2022 when my trans sister died. My sister Sam, who identified as a woman, born assigned male at birth, identified as a woman, she passed away. She had a stroke, and my mom was going to have the funeral in a Mormon church and dead name her. I had to stand up. I had to be like, Mom, if this is how the funeral is going to go down, you're losing 2 children. I had to put my foot down. I had to step up and be like, okay, this is I can't accept this. I cannot accept you disrespecting my sibling this way. And I ended up actually getting into an argument with her bishop, where he was like, because I was trying to say, okay, you know, my mom's organizing the funeral here, I want to speak. Well, he already knew that I intended, because he had had a talk with my mom, he already knew that I intended to true name my sister and true pronoun my sister in my eulogy, and didn't want that in the church, and refused to let me speak, and said that because he was the bishop, he got to decide the funeral program, right? Like, he got to decide the program of anything that happened in his chapel. I did end up going over his head to some people in Salt Lake City that I knew, and he got his ass reamed out. But I told him, it's like, we're not having our services at your facility. And then I called my mom back and I said, like, Mom, if we're having the facilities, if we're having service at that facility, you're losing 2 kids. She's like, okay, you plan it. And I did. And I planned a very beautiful celebration of life by the lake outside my house. It was wonderful. That was the first point of contention with my mom. The second point of contention that I had with my mom was when the scandal broke for the church, and their
Finances.
Cayman Island accounts, and how all of this tithing was not going where they told people, that they were cheating on taxes and violating very serious laws, according to the SEC, regarding churches and taxes. And I tried to point that out to my mom. I was like, look, you are just throwing this money away to people who are literally grifting you, and I can prove it. And she just refuses to listen. She's just like, nope, don't want to hear it. Not going to stop paying tithing. And then the third thing, and this is and then I'll turn it over to other people to respond. The third thing that really, really bothered me was before the election, we did at least have an agreement that Trump was bad. Like she could at least see that Trump was bad. That was not beyond her. But then she's like, I'm not gonna vote Democrat. And then I'm like, well, why not? Let's look at the candidates. What are your issues? You know, if we're looking at this person versus this person, and then she says, well, Kamala slept her way to the top. And I was like, oh my fucking God, do you know how misogynistic that is? Do you realize how you are hurting yourself and other women by saying that, right? and those have been kind of like the primary three struggles that I have had with my Mormon mother, wrapped up in a nutshell. And I will shut up and let other people respond.
Well, I thought that maybe we can broaden the topic to struggle with parents who are still enmeshed in high demand religion. Because I feel like,
Sure, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be relegated specifically to Mormon. Other people could probably weigh in based on the things that I have shared that apply to
Yes,
more
exactly.
denominations. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, because
Yeah. So
we're all heathens here.
So how about you respond, and then we'll let other people get a chance.
Yeah, no, pretty much everything you said hit home. Let's just go straight to the election. Same. My mom thinks Trump is evil, but she could not bring herself to tell me that she wouldn't vote for him.
My mom did vote third party. She voted for Kennedy because he was still on the ballot here.
Oh my! If she could have picked worse than Trump.
I mean, but he's gonna be Health and Human Services, so it really doesn't matter. Anyway,
I honestly don't. I don't know who my mom ended up voting for, because we agreed to just end the conversation.
Yeah, she said she wouldn't vote for Trump, but she couldn't vote for Kamala.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, my mom didn't vote at all, which would be probably the first time in her entire adult life.
I am curious if my brother did the same, because he was saying things like Trump came across as looking cool on a podcast he was looking at. This is my 8-year older brother, by the way. He's almost a decade older than me.
Jesus. I don't know how old you are, but that's a gap. That's a gap.
Yeah, I'm 27, so he's got
closer to my age, yeah.
Yeah. And he's got.
Am I the oldest around here? I'm about to turn 43.
I just turned 40 this year. This was my last year technically. My 40th birthday was October.
My birthday is 123, so everybody has to wish me happy birthday in a week or so.
Hey.
Yeah, easy as ABC.
Are you serious?
It is.
God.
Yeah.
No,
123.
That's my ex-wife's birthday. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Just me.
And only you.
Only me. I am the only person who has ever had a 123 birthday.
I'm just saying, like that did throw me off guard for a second. Please continue.
No, yeah. So you can erase the X and remember that Ms. Non Sequitur is 123.
I am down to replace you with my ex but you know what? Let's just not finish that sentence online.
Platonically.
So we'll see.
Sorry, I'm such a turd.
No, I liked it. But okay, so my mom and I had a rough time when I was a teenager. We butted heads a lot, and we got a lot better as adults. We enjoy a lot of the same things. But recently, when I've gotten into anti-apologetics and things, I wanted her to at least acknowledge that my atheist standpoint, that she could understand where I was coming from, at least. And that did not work. That did not work. She took everything I said as an attack. I wanted her to at least acknowledge that my atheist standpoint, that she could understand where it was coming from. Yeah. At least. Yeah. And it actually did a lot of damage to our relationship. We went to my therapist to try and work through some of this stuff. I don't think my mom has any idea how much religious trauma I had growing up as a girl, a neuroatypical girl in the very rigid LDS structure.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy for her.
Maybe. So sorry. I think I missed a portion of that. Are you saying that the therapist was part of the LDS structure?
No. My mom and I were, I was trying to explain to her about the logic of why I can't believe what she would very much like me to believe, because I can't make myself believe things, you know? I just can't. And it was causing a lot of fights. So we went to therapy together to work through that. And that ended up
Yeah.
with me just deciding that that's not a subject we can talk about because she can't handle it.
I was about to say it seems like for the health of your relationship, if that's more important to you, that might just have to be a boundary.
And that's what I decided. Yeah.
Hey,
She's
Scotty, if you're
76 years
listening,
old.
Scotty, real quick, sorry. Scotty, if you're listening, peek at Daily Atheisting channel. Just peek at that for me real quick. All right, continue.
Oh, I was more or less done. Anyway, I decided that that's just not a subject we can talk about, which is sad because this is a big part of my life, but I love my mommy.
No, I know, I get that, and that's been the biggest issue with me and my mom is, you know, I can't say there aren't walls I haven't broken down. There's a couple of times I mentioned one at the very beginning. That's why I let off with it, where I had to take a serious stand against her and be like, hey, you either bend on this or you're losing me too. It
Yeah,
was
well,
it
I
was
have a
the wor-
trans
it was one of the
teen.
most painful. Yeah, I have it. That was part of it. My 16-year-old is non-binary.
Mine
Um,
too. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly the same. My 16-year-old is also.
AFAB non-binary tomboy as fuck.
You could be.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun fact. One of my Christmas presents to them was on the line. They were doing the whole like the mug competition, who could sell the most mugs.
Yes.
I bought
Leave
Dr.
trans.
Ben's.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben's mug. I bought Dr. Ben's mug, which says
I bought mine Arden's.
you bought. Okay, well, okay. Were you there? Were you there for the conversation? Were you there for the episode where if Ben won and Arden lost, Arden had to defend BG3?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Arden
She
hates
hates
BG3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Arden hates Baldur's Gate 3. Dr. Ben
so
loves
much.
Baldur's Gate 3. Dr. Ben loves Baldur's Gate 3. So the loser that night had to so if Ben won,
You're the opposite.
then Arden had to say why BG3 is the best game ever, and then if Arden won, Ben had to say why BG3 was the worst game ever. That night I spent $15 in super chats and bought a mug to tip the balance in Ben's favor to force Arden to argue why BG3 was the best game ever. And guess what? Ben won. I do know Ben won by like okay, if I did nothing, if I didn't do super chats, if I didn't spend a dime on the mug, Ben would have won like by 1 or 2 points.
Well, I mean,
But
Dr. Ben is.
Dr. Ben is awesome. And also,
Then it's Dr.
I do
Beck.
believe there were a lot of BG3 fans in the chat that night who were like, nah. We don't want to hear Ben shit talking our game. We want to hear Arden up talking our game. That was, but anyway, I bought the mug and it says support healthcare without binaries. And
Yeah, that one was a good
gave
one.
I gave that mug to my daughter as a Christmas present, and that is her mug.
Your
And I just
child.
pulled it out of
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So here's what I will say about my child's pronouns. My child has expressed at this point they do not care what pronouns are used. So
Do we actually have the same child? Do we literally have the same child?
Maybe. Is your child's name Zoe?
Evie.
Okay, so we both went through with 3-letter names. Like fuck. No, that's 4 letters. Yours is 4 letters, huh?
And they go by 2 letters
syllable
now,
names?
just V.
Oh shit! Look at that. Zoe. Most of their friends, Z. They just go by Z. But anyway.
Let me guess. Non-binary too?
Non-binary.
Yes, but also, sorry, neurodivergent is what I meant.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
ADHD.
ASD and ADHD. For mine.
And ODD. That was a fun fucking phase before that got.
Yeah.
I remember
mine not that, but
no, I remember it was. God, it's one of the most traumatic fucking dad memories that I have. Where it was during COVID, and it was just like, hey, you need to sit down. You need to be at your computer. You need to be attending your classes. And Z was just like, no, I'm leaving. I'm taking off. I'm gonna walk out the door. And I was like, no, I had to grab and be like, and then Z just started throwing punches at me, and I had to get to the point where I literally just basically got them in a bear hug and was just literally just wrapping my arms and legs around their arms and legs, just so that they weren't taking off to nowhere and not hitting me.
Right. You're a good dad.
Very glad to be past that. COVID was rough. Yeah, the kids did not take well to the distance learning model. And it didn't help. It didn't help that at the time I was also currently an educator. I was forced into being a distance learning teacher at the time.
Right.
So
Which is even harder in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was trying to maintain 6 courses and make sure my kids showed up to theirs. It's fucking nightmare. And it's one of the reasons why I burnt out. And it's one of the reasons why when my disability came in, I was like, nah, fuck this.
Can't blame you.
I was teaching for
So
7
it was
years.
a nightmare for parents.
Yeah, I was teaching for
And
7
worse
years,
for
and
teachers.
COVID just fucking wiped me. I was done. So I'm going to admit, I was having difficulties performing in my job appropriately because I was having PTSD issues compounded by the situation, right?
Like blame you.
I'm already a soldier with PTSD, and now all of this stuff. It was overwhelming. I wouldn't say I snapped. Like I didn't snap like I went off on a student or I like fucked up hard, but my performance was slipping to the point where like we really can't keep you on anymore. And then at the exact same time, at the exact same time, my appeal for my disability, because my original rating from the VA was at 20%, and then I appealed, and I got a lawyer involved, and the result of that appeal came back 100%. So,
Good
I
timing.
was literally, it was literally right as I was losing my job because I was burning the fuck out. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and try and blame, like, oh, fuck them, they didn't no.
No, nobody
I
knew
was-
what to do with that stuff.
I was not up to par. I am not gonna deny that my performance was subpar. But
hey,
at the same time, disability plus full medical. I lost pay. I did. I am way more
Well,
paycheck
yeah.
to paycheck than I was as a teacher. But
you're happier now.
I am way less miserable.
More content now. So I
Easier
have
to
a
manage.
suggestion.
Go ahead.
Since we seem to be the only people talking about
Yeah,
our kids and education and all that, I have a suggestion for the next topic.
Sure, by all means.
All right. Embarrassing confession time.
Ooh.
I was deconstructing from basically birth. I don't know. I grew up in the Mormon religion. I asked too many questions. They kept telling me when they didn't have an answer, they would say, oh, well, I guess we won't know that until we get to the afterlife. And that was never good enough for me.
Oh, God. I know what you're talking about. Jeez.
I definitely have an embarrassing confession, but I do not want to go next. I want other people to be able to get into the conversation.
Okay. Wait until I get to the embarrassing part, because it's real embarrassing.
I just need to see like what scale we're all working on so that I can try and match it. You know, without being weirdo.
Oh, I think I've got.
This is
I think I've
still
got a
out on
topper.
YouTube
I
scale.
think I've got a topper. I think I've got a topper.
It's
but I'm
totally
waiting.
appropriate for YouTube, but it's real
We can get
embarrassing.
away with a lot. We can get away with a lot verbally on YouTube. Like, just to be very clear, we can get away with a
This is
lot.
absolutely G-rated and real embarrassing.
Okay.
So, okay, I grew up as a teenager. I kind of left the religion. As about a 19 to 21-year-old, I decided I needed to find out for myself. So I threw myself into the Mormon religion, did everything I was supposed to do, got zero
Mormon.
answers that I was, yes, very much, but zero answers that I was promised. I felt nothing. So I'm like, okay, done with that. I tried, it didn't work, but I still thought there must be something out there. There can't be nothing. There must be something. You know, the steps of deconstruction that most people take. 25, I was introduced to, this is the embarrassing part, Zeitgeist. The movie.
I was about to say, we've got to be clarified. Are you talking about Zeitgeist the movie, Zeitgeist like having your finger on the pulse, or are you talking about the
Zeitgeist?
I just understand Zeitgeist to be like the word for the kind of collective, cultural, and
no, I'm talking about the truly terrible quote-unquote documentary.
Oh, okay, it's a film. Okay,
Y'all-
okay, sure.
Y'all totally just destroyed my Marvel joke, but that's okay.
This might be
Oh, I'm so
before my
sorry.
time.
Okay,
I was trying to
it's
say, are you talking
awful.
about Zeitgeist the movie, Zeitgeist having your finger on the pulse, or Zeitgeist the really shitty X-Man who spits acidic vomit?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, that one. That one. I met him, and he totally finished my deconstruction.
I think I've heard of this movie, but I never did see it.
It's
Don't.
So I know of it through Myth Vision. I know it also helped with Derek Lambert's of Myth Vision's deconstruction. It's also my understanding that it had a lot of inaccuracies in it, but
So
it's like a
many.
stepping stone.
Well, I don't
Yes.
even know what's like
Yes.
what's the message of the like what's the main point? Like what's it trying?
Okay, well, the first one came in
mysticism?
3 parts. The first one came in 3 parts. The first part was talking about how modern Christianity is derived from all of these other religions, from before.
Sure.
And then the second part, I believe, was about the Twin Towers being an inside job, and the third part was about World Bank. The only part that made
Holy
any
shit.
difference to me was the first part. Yeah, no,
That
it
That was
was
such a
awful.
fucking
0 to 60
Yeah.
Right.
in 9,000 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah, joking back. The second one was talking about the
Part
resurrection
was
and the evidence we
crazy.
have for
No, it was all just but I was 25 and I saw it and I'm like, oh my Jesus Christ,
This is really something, you thought.
that's really something. And so for about 6 months I was convinced that 9/11 was an inside job. But it also made me realize, not so much that I decided, but made me realize that I did not believe in God.
See, I was lucky enough. I was born in '96, but I had a dad that was like in construction management, and he went to school for engineering and knew a lot about metallurgy. So he was able to like explain to me like pretty
Why it
early,
does
like
work.
pretty early on. He was like, yeah, like you look at the numbers straight off the bat. Like, yeah, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, but you know what it can do? It can make
Weaken
structural
it.
steel, not structural steel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's thank you. Because specifically, my job in the military, I
You
go
just
by the
destroy the
handle
heat treat.
sapper. Well, no, my job in the military, I go by the handle sapper for a reason. A sapper in the military is a demolition specialist. That was my
Okay.
job.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't know that was
uh,
like a term for a. Yeah.
No, I
okay.
actually wondered if that was where your name came from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, the reason why I go by sapper is because I was a sapper.
So
I
you've been taught
have
for
a
different
sapper
reasons how heat affects.
that's why I was saying like
Yeah.
seriously, we like when there would be these 9/11 conspiracy people on Facebook or Reddit or whatever fuck, and people would be like, jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and I try and come in there and be like, let me tell you exactly how explosives work and why.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
That is
you know,
what
if
happened.
they're a real conspiracy guys, they'll be like, see, you're proving me right because you're talking about explosives, but it's like, no, we're talking about temperatures.
No,
right
trust
now.
me, I got the whole, but I also got the whole like you're a corporate shill. When I said I'm from the military, there would be people be like, oh yeah, okay, so you're just trying to support the government narrative.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I had that shit, and here's the thing, I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. I was
It was 19.
not even in the military yet. You were 19, I was 18 years old, and 9/11 and literally that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up, right? I mean, the college fucking, the promise of paying for college was great too. But like I did actually have, after 9/11, a lot of us did, especially 18, 19-year-olds, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, had this kind of sense of like duty to our country, kind of not that dissimilar from the duty to our country that people in World War II felt. I definitely know my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran, was like, oh my God, when I enlisted, I never got more respect from that man in my life. Also, my grandfather was a German immigrant who was a boy when his father came over in World War I, and then got his citizenship by volunteering in World War II because he wasn't even born in this country. So The respect that I got
And
from
for
my
me-
grandfather about, yeah, there was a generational, like the beyond baby boomer. Like I
Yeah, my
never
grandpa fought-
meant anything to my grandpa until then in my life.
Oh, that's sad.
both
Damn.
Oh no, my grandpa, he had the opinion children should be seen and not heard, and also that applied to women. So, and this is my dad's father. He had a rule whenever the family was visiting, only German was allowed to be spoken in the house. He did that because he didn't want to hear my mom talk. But I wish I was kidding.
Fucker.
I know, but my grandma would be in the corner doing puzzles with me, and while the adults were talking in German, she would be whispering to me, teaching me German so that I would be able to catch up with the adults sooner. And once I was able to speak in German fluent enough for the adults to respect me as one of them, which was probably around like 11 or 12, I started being treated better than my mother.
I mean,
that sucks.
Yeah.
No, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible. It's a horrible way to grow up, but I literally had to earn my place to speak.
Both my grandpa fought in World War II. My dad was
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, my dad was drafted into Vietnam, and my grandfathers never spoke about it. My father told us two stories.
My dad was Nam also, just real quick. My dad was Nam, Grandpa World War II. I had a history.
Yeah. My dad told us as a family two stories. Well, and the first wasn't even a story. He said it was either boring or terrifying. And then the one real story was one Christmas Eve night where they were sleeping on a concrete, I don't know, pad. And they all sang Silent Night and other.
Oh, your granddad was in
together.
Steely Knock? I thought your dad was in that. Your granddad was in that the Steely Knock, the where the Germans and the Americans came together in the no man's zone.
No. This dad during Nam.
Oh, during Nam.
Yeah. No, this was an experience with my dad. No, they were he and his platoon or whatever were sleeping on just a concrete.
That's a famous.
Field
that's a
thing.
famous story from World War II. That's a famous story
Yeah,
from World
no,
War II. I've
no,
never
it's
heard
not
about
that.
it happening in Nam. I never heard about it happening in
No, this was not a big thing. This was not a major thing. This was just something that happened to my dad with his immediate,
I'm not trying to discount your experience. I'm just trying to understand my historical knowledge and equate it. Yeah.
I didn't feel that way at all. I'm just saying these are the only two stories he could ever tell us. My mom said that he couldn't tell her anything for like a decade, and he never spoke to any of us until my little brother was in the sandbox, and then they talked about their experiences.
Somebody else was trying to break
the two of
in.
them.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had finished. There was a pause.
I'm done.
Somebody else was trying to break in before they turn it over. I do want to respond to that real quick. I definitely get it. I have stories that I can tell, stories that I can't tell, stories that I can tell in some context, some stories that are reserved only for my therapist. And the degrees of those stories vary. It really has mostly to do with how much it impacted me and how much I've processed it. So, because there are some pretty horrific things that happened that I can talk about more easily than other things that happened because they impacted me. Right? So, yeah, no, it's that's my response to that. But somebody else was trying to break in. I wanted to let them do so.
Oh no, I was just bumping in. I was saying there was on my side of the family. I have some people in my family that fought on the American side, but there was an interesting, like, I guess I'm just kind of bummed that there's a story that almost feels like lost now. My great granddad on my well, it's not even my great grand. It's my granddad on my dad's side married a woman who had come here. She was brought after World War II, and her dad was like, he was like in his 20s, like my age or something, but he was conscripted to be a German soldier, and he like got them a train ticket, his daughter and his wife out of the country, and he ended up, they never heard from him again. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was like, and I don't know if he sympathized with kind of party beliefs, or if he was someone who would have not been with the whole thing, but he was just a 20-year-old guy, you know what I mean? So he was
a dissident who didn't want to fight.
No, I don't even know if he was a dissident. No one, like, I really don't know the whole story, like, because he sent his wife over he sent them over to France, and then they got on a boat to America, and then like, the last I know, she died before I was born, and it was she was like, I guess, a step grandma, basically, right? So it's not like a blood relation, but I guess it's kind of a story that's lost to time, because I guess there's no like, you know, she died before I was born, and no one has the full story of everything, and he sent them out of the country before his whole story was finished, but no one ever heard from him again. But it's just, I guess I don't know, it's just weird to reflect on how you've got like people from all sides, and he wasn't, I don't know if he was a bad guy or not. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but it would be interesting to know that story, and it's just curious how it's gone.
I do have a light-hearted turn. I have a story that I want to share from my granddad, but then I also thought of a joke that I wanted to share with Ms. Non Sequitur, as the other former Mormon, and this is my best Mormon come online. You ready?
Let's hear it.
I am so ready.
Hey, baby, have you been working on your genealogy? Want to start?
I'm so out of belief on this one.
So hot.
I was really fearing some kind of a soaking joke there.
Yo, it's a hit when another Mormon gets it, and someone.
She got it right.
Yeah,
that was something
I
a
got
Mormon
it.
would
I
get.
got where where you were going.
That's how I didn't get it, but I know it was good because she got it, and I'm a fucking Baptist, you know.
Right? No. I very specifically opened with like, this is a Mormon come online, right?
Yeah.
Like this is one Mormon dude trying to come on to a Mormon girl and tell me that wouldn't fucking work.
No, just seeing that she responded right away, and it went completely over my head.
Yeah. The second line wasn't even necessary. I would have married you within a week based on the first line alone.
But it was like,
if we were still Mormon. If we were still
Well,
Mormon.
yes, and we were in our early 20s.
Yes, exactly.
That's what Mormons do.
Good point. You've got to be able to do it within the sanctimony of marriage.
Let me ask this. All right, and this like, all right, and you don't tell me about your personal experience. I don't care. I don't want to hear about your past. But
I'll tell you all I want.
But is like soaking is soaking a real thing, or is that just some shit?
No.
Like,
Oh my god!
like just on the
No.
TV when people make fun of Mormons?
No,
it
it is not real. No,
actually
no.
no,
Yes,
it
it
was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
is.
according to a poll at fucking Salt Lake
BYU?
sorry, BYU. According to
Yeah.
a poll at BYU,
Well, that might be an unfair
people
poll
did
because
that.
it's college
People
kids.
did that. Okay, but college kids
I don't
admitted
know.
to doing it. College kids
Okay,
admitting
but
to doing that thing. So what?
But back in our
it is a
day-
thing that happened. No, it wasn't a thing in our day. Fuck no. That
no,
was,
no, no, no. I'm
like,
saying
what?
in our day, the soaking of our day was going to Vegas, getting a quickie marriage, getting a quickie divorce, just so you could
Yeah.
have the night together to have sex. And that
Oh, 'cause
really
it was
never
illegal.
happened
Oh
either.
my
I
God.
mean, maybe
No.
once or twice, but not like a real big widespread thing.
Okay. All I'm saying is, and I cannot, especially I don't have it in front of me. I can't quote the sample size. I do know that they did a poll at BYU, and a percentage of people admitted to doing it. So
I guess
that
doing
is-
it's
that
not
is the
You
only
have to
thing-
try it
that is
sometime.
the only thing I can claim as far as whether or not it is real. That is my support. My support for my argument is people at BYU claimed to do it.
Well,
That is it.
I'll
That's
just
it.
You want to hear a very specific, like, border, Texas-Mexico border pickup line.
please.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Usually this is said in
Especially because
Spanish.
I was an ESL teacher for 7 years. So no, it's in Spanish, even better. No, do it in Spanish.
Shit, I have to. It's been so long. I've always told it in English.
Now you put her out on the spot.
I'm sorry. I very specifically was English as a second language teacher on the border for 7 years. So you're right. I did put you on the spot. Go ahead and do it in
English
English.
is
Usually
fine.
No on the spot.
Usually it's like he's like, oye mamacita, ¿de dónde
Yeah.
sacas el pan? And it means, hey baby, where you get your bread? And essentially the point is everyone gets fresh bread daily at the market, and so the guy is asking,
Yeah.
where can I see you daily?
Right, because one of the way I actually had students who did this on the regular, because again I taught on the border. I would, instead of like bring an apple for the teacher, I got pan dulce.
Fresh tortillas. My dad's
yes,
from New
fresh
Mexico,
tortillas. I
so
got
all
fresh
my family is
tortillas, I
from
got
there
pan
too.
dulce, I got empanadas. I got, oh my god, it was seriously, apple a day. Fuck you. Have Mexican students, because they don't bring you apples.
Oh, and then oh my goodness, I always forget the name. Christmas. What do
Christmas
they always
cookies.
make?
I know what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah,
No. I'm talking about that cornmeal wrapped.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
What are they freaking called?
I don't remember.
Tamales.
But yes.
Yes, tamales.
Tamales.
Okay.
Tamales. Yeah.
Tamales. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother makes those homemade at least once a year, sometimes twice.
Well, I
Okay.
know who I'm going to visit this Christmas.
Bro, my
so-
dad used to be engaged to this Mexican girl in Houston, and she would like home make tamales, and then we would be in the movie theater. Like she would sneak, you know how like your mom or your aunt would like sneak like chocolate or candy into the movie theater
Yes.
so you wouldn't have to pay for it.
Great big
This
purse.
girl would, no, she would pull out
I
like
live in San
fucking
Diego, dude.
warm tamales in paper
Yep.
towels in the movie
Mhm.
theater. Like you'd be watching like Spider-Man, and she would just like pull out like literally hot tamales in a paper towel. Like,
And then the
greasy as
and then the shit
You know what I
and then
mean?
the shit and then the shit she would do to you in the theater after you ate her tamales.
Nah, this is my dad's girl. You know what I mean?
Well,
okay,
But the
sorry.
like she would
You
bring
went a
out
different
like,
way.
like I'm telling like just like hot, greasy tamales in the middle of just the movie theater. Like I was like, damn, out of
Oh,
the purse. Like,
make
what the
it worse,
fuck?
why don't you?
I will say
Hot, greasy
I'm going to make this claim. I'm
Dude, I
going
would
to
never
make
put
this
that shit in
claim.
my purse. A paper towel with no plastic bag.
I'm going to make this claim. The best taco shops that are not in Mexico are in San Diego. We have the best taco shops.
That is true.
If you want real fucking taco shop, you come to San Diego, or you cross the border.
I was born and raised in Texas, but I verified this by the 1 year that I lived in North County, San Diego.
Dude, people in Texas think they know Mexican food, but Tex-Mex is not Mexican food. Tex-Mex is something different.
Actually, I've been involved in this debate very many times, and what I've discovered is that, and I've asked my Mexican friends from different parts of Mexico, is it turns out they're both authentic. It's just check it out. Have you ever noticed how
it was better or worse?
Well, no. Have you ever noticed how
they're
like?
not the same. That's all.
Well, no,
that
but I
was
mean,
my
like,
only
have you ever?
claim.
Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, like, have you ever noticed how like, you notice how like you go get a Philly cheesesteak or something, or like a Chicago like deep dish pizza, and it's like that's American food. But then also, if you go get like
I cannot get a good Philly cheesesteak or a good fucking
if you really
fish
get,
pizza
if you
in
go
San
get like
Diego.
a muffletta in like New Orleans, that's also American food, and they're both American food, but they're super different. It turns out I think that just like a lot of the Tex-Mex is like influenced by different like Mexican food from a different region of Mexico than like the Mexican food.
No. Tex-Mex it's an amalgamation of two different cultures.
Well,
it really is.
It is, but
Well, no, I think the point is
it's like influenced by like a different. It's like influenced on its own by like a completely different thing than
right.
Like
it's its
a lot of
own
what you get in
fusion.
San
It's its
Diego.
own cuisine. That's why I'm saying Tex-Mex is not Mexican food, and there are a lot of Texans who think it is. That was my point.
I don't know. I kind of disagree.
No, I'm just saying it's different. It's a different cuisine.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna get the same. However, you
Fair
can
enough.
get authentic Mexican in here. Just know that it's not gonna be under the label of Tex-Mex.
Right. I'm just saying if it's a Tex-Mex cuisine, that's different than Mexican food. It is its own category. That is my own.
Yeah, but even within Tex-Mex, it can be Tex-Mex from one, the Mex from one area, or the Mex from another area,
Sure, yeah, there's
or some
regional-
combination.
That's all I mean. I think you can get like
That's what I
think
thought you were
can get, I think you can get like a authentic Mexican food in like Laredo that has like it has a lot of like cultural influences on like what has become Tex-Mex, and it's very different from an authentic Mexican food than you would get in like Tijuana.
Right. And what I'm trying to argue is that if you are trying to get authentic Mexican food, not Tex-Mex, authentic Mexican food, without going to Mexico, San Diego. You got to go to San Diego. That's the only place where you're going to get real, authentic Mexican food north of that border.
No,
I think
no,
that's
no,
just
no,
where
no.
you're gonna get
The
real
only
authentic
place
Tijuana Mexican food.
in
That's what I'm saying.
America you
North
can get
of the border.
authentic
Tijuana
Mexican
is north of
food
the border.
is
Tijuana's
from
south of the border.
a grandmother who grew up in Texas. I mean, not Texas. I mean Mexico.
Well, I'm saying
That's
like
the
you're
only
gonna
place
get
in America you're
Mexican
gonna get
food.
authentic
Okay.
Authentic to the
I am
north-
not.
the
Okay, I am
northwestern
exempting.
style.
I am exempting homemade. I'm exempting homemade.
Okay.
I will clarify. I am exempting homemade. I'm talking about like going out to a business place to get authentic food, authentic Mexican food.
I'm not gonna argue. San Diego is
San
great.
Diego. Well, I'm just saying. I
Yeah, that
have
shit is
been-
good. San Diego is good. It's been a
Mhm.
when I lived
I've
in
been all
San
over
Diego
the
is the only place in my entire life that I've lived at where I could get like a burrito the size of my from my fist to my elbow for $5 in
There's a
any
place
economy.
There's
You
a
can eat
place
for a
in
week
the
on
town-
that.
There's a place in the town over from me. There's a place in the town over from me called El Salulitas, and they are a Filipino Mexican fusion, and they have, or sorry, not Filipino, Pacific Islander Mexican fusion. And no, it is Filipino. Yeah, because they do the lumpia. No, sorry.
I was gonna
like one of.
I was gonna say,
No,
I
it
was
is
like,
Filipino.
Filipino makes more sense.
No, it is Filipino. It is Filipino. Like one of their fucking one of the things on their menu is a lumpia burrito. Another one that they do, which I have to be in a I hate the whole world and don't care what happens to my body fucking mood. But they have a deep fried bacon wrapped breakfast burrito that is the size of my forearm.
Like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Yes, it is. That is when, like I said, when I really hate myself and the world and don't care how fat I get, I will order from El Salulitas because I can get a lumpia burrito and make it bacon wrapped and deep fried.
Nobody got that reference though.
I got it. Trust me. I tried to glaze over it. I tried to glaze over it because I don't want to be too dirty. Like I can be dirty, but like I don't want to be too dirty.
Oh, sure.
Before we find a new topic, because we definitely birdwalked, I did want to tell one funny story from my grandfather time in service. This is how he got out of the army. So, my grandfather was on the beach of Normandy on D-Day and survived. So, we're starting there. Don't need to go into all the details. You've seen Saving Private Ryan. You got at least something of an idea of what he experienced in that moment.
More than enough.
He lived.
Like we know there's a whole
through
lot
it.
of nut shit leading up to this, and then here we are.
Right, exactly. I felt like I'd skip over the preamble that could be covered by a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
So, after they took the beach, they were offloading all of the equipment and supplies and pack animals because in World War II, they were still using pack animals. They had not discontinued using donkeys, horses, etc., right? Cavalry still had fucking horses. And there was a pack mule that was being offloaded from one of the boats. And my grandfather was a farmer. My grandfather grew up an avocado farmer / like, obviously there were other animals on the property, right? But my family's primary business in San Diego before we got bought out and my grandpa sold his farm was avocado farming. We did really well for ourselves. At least he did until his ex-wife stole our family's money because he had a second wife, and that's another story. Anyway, our avocado business did not end up well. Okay, I got, what was it? After everything was distributed, I got $10,300 because his ex-wife's family stole millions. Anyway, again, my grandpa, World War II. I've been drinking and smoking. I know I'm a little crossfaded. I ain't gonna lie. My grandpa, World War II. They're offloading this pack mule, and his captain is standing right behind this fucking mule. And my grandpa says, "Sir," I'm repeating it the way he told it to me in German. So if I get it wrong and it's not historically accurate, I'm doing my best. But his captain was standing behind the mule, and he went up to him and said, "Sir, you don't want to be standing behind this mule. And the captain was like, Private, don't tell me what the fuck to do. Like, he just got all like high and mighty in his position, being told what not to do by somebody who didn't outrank him. And my grandpa backed off a little bit, but then he caught that like little glint in the mule's eye that a farmer knows, and realized that the mule was about to kick backwards. He dove in front, pushed his captain out of the way, and caught the hoof in his head. Medically discharged from World War II with honors.
My mouth literally just dropped open.
This was, again, and this was the same man who was like, you can't talk in my house unless you're talking in German, right? And again, I know for a fact that he was being misogynistic as fuck and just didn't want to hear my mom talk, because I don't want to say I get it, but I love my mom, but
you get
why
it.
I understand why my German grandfather didn't want to hear her speak. I'm not saying he was right. I'm saying I understand from his point of view what about my mother he wanted to shut up.
You're like, bro wasn't really right about women, but like mom was kind of annoying.
I just know what my grandfather didn't want to hear.
There's also a reason why we didn't call my grandmother that much, even when we were like, she's not gonna be around forever, and it'd be like, yeah. But it's like if you picked up that phone, you're not getting off of it for at least 2 hours.
And here's the thing to understand. So my grandfather was Lutheran. My father grew up Lutheran. My mother was Jewish. And for some reason, when they got married, they decided to split the difference and go Mormon.
Split the difference?
Split the difference was a joke.
No, I know. I'm like, no, sorry. That came out way more serious than I meant it. I meant
the
it
difference
also.
was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did get that. It just came out wrong.
But yeah, so my grandfather had a lot of problems with my parents' relationship, right? He married a Jewish girl, and
Have a good one,
yes,
Dave.
my grandfather fought on the side of the Allies, but that doesn't mean he didn't have anti-Semitic feelings. And also, again, not only did he marry a Jewish girl, but then they joined the Mormon Church. So very not Lutheran. My grandfather had issues. He was trying to hope. I will say this. One of the best reasons why I think I had a good relationship with my grandfather is because he didn't want me to be in that. But I didn't end up in anything, right? When it's all said and done. But like
Probably
he was right
not
about
what
one
he was
thing.
hoping for.
Well, yeah. No, but I actually did develop an actual relationship with my grandfather, but it didn't start until I proved that I could speak German enough to have a conversation with him at the table. And then he married his second wife, and that rule went out the fucking window, and she took all the money. Right? So again, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I wanted to share the whole my grandpa got discharged from the army because he got kicked in the head by a fucking
Kicked in the head by a donkey. Oh, mule.
No, by a mule. By a mule. By a mule.
Not a donkey.
Donkeys are able to have offspring. Mules are not. Mule is the hybrid result of a horse and a donkey mating.
Well, the mule's
There's,
gonna get
I was
harder than the
girl.
donkeys.
Well, no. The reason why they brought mules as pack animals to World War II was so that there wasn't a chance of them getting loose and knocking up local species. Because mules are
Rito
sterile.
means little mule.
You can, you believe it or not, the Army actually did pay attention to ecological impact even back then. It may have come to more of a forefront over the last few decades, but
Well,
even 70
Agent
years
Orange
ago.
in Vietnam, not so much.
No, I'm not saying mistakes weren't made. I'm saying ecological impact is something that was being considered and observed even back in the Revolutionary War, right? The First Corps of Engineers under Washington were delivering ecological impact reports about plants. That was actually part of I wouldn't say part of my job, like specifically, like in the Corps of Engineers, things get spread out to different, like different what's the fucking MOSs, different job descriptions, right? But the Corps of Engineers encompasses a large area of different jobs in the military, and determining ecological impact of a mission is on the list. It wasn't my purview. My purview was boom boom.
Sorry, that was cute.
I make things go boom boom. No, seriously, no, fun topic. Obviously not going to say it on YouTube, but one of the things that I know how to do as a result of my training is make explosives out of basic household items. And some of those household items include tapioca and cocoa powder. And no, I'm not going to tell you how. No, I'm not going to tell you how to use either of those things in explosives, and neither of those things are used in the same thing. So me mentioning them doesn't give anybody anything, right? I'm just saying I know how to use tapioca to make explosives. I also know how to use cocoa powder to make explosives.
And when you hear that I made something explosive from those things, you'll negate all responsibility, I'm sure. It'll be all your fault.
Somebody else.
There's lots of ways to release hydrogen gas.
You are partially correct. You are partially correct, and I'm not going to expand about how.
But you kind of want to. I get the feeling you really kind of want to.
No. I genuinely don't think that I want to let people in the populace know how to do some of the things I know how to do. No.
Not at all. But
No. That's not what I meant. Like your cleverness, your knowledge, kind of. You know, you kind of want to be able to tell people these things, but you can't because you know better.
There's a part of me that wants to be able to tell people that I'm clever enough to know these things, sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'll own that. But the reality is, how do I put this? Y'all heard of Timothy McVeigh, right? Oklahoma City bomber.
Oh yeah.
He and I had the same. He and I had the same on the job training. He and I had the same on the job training.
He was military background, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was Marine Corps. I was Army.
Okay,
he was Marine Corps. I was Army.
Oh, okay. I thought he was Army as well. Okay.
No, he was Marine Corps. I was Army. But he and I had the same on the job training because guess what? The Marine Corps fucking engineer crew, guess whose fucking manuals they use for training?
Yours.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps steals everything from everyone, basically.
Yeah. I'm not trying to cast shade. I'm not trying to cast shade. We are all on
Me
the same
neither.
team. We all
I
but I will
I know
say the
many
training
Marines I love.
the training is the same. That was my point.
No, they
Though
just
he did
good
not act
advertising to
alone.
pick out,
I mean,
like buffed dudes.
Oh,
That-
McVeigh?
I-
Oh
No
shit.
way.
I
No
don't
way.
Oh no, he acted. Oh yeah, he acted alone. I promise you.
no. He had the
Gotta
white
phrase- I gotta
supremacist
phrase this.
behind him.
Oh no, okay, he had coverage.
Yeah, no,
Right, he had
the
people
white like
protecting him.
yeah, the white supremacists, all of the
Yeah.
little groups. Yeah.
Yeah, he had people protecting him, but he did not need to do what he did with a team. I promise you.
Oh no. What he actually did
I do believe he acted
people
alone.
helped him plan it. You know,
No,
but the day of.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
alone. Yes.
Yeah, he acted alone. I do believe, yeah, he probably got support and coverage, and maybe even some feedback from some people
behind the scenes.
from some people he knew. But
Yeah.
I could have done what he did with my training by myself. I could do that. I don't desire to.
Wait, didn't they say he like had a dude like a second guy that was with him, or was that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He probably had he had a spotter. He had support. He had. But I'm saying the actual implementation of the devices.
Oh
nah,
yeah. Oh, Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
Bill-
That
yeah,
was all
okay,
him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about. I'm
I
talking
meant
about like
that-
the day with the truck, and I thought that.
Oh
I,
yeah.
And
No,
maybe
no,
I
no.
was maybe there never
and I was
was.
talking about the
distribution,
planning
sure.
stuff.
I thought I
Yeah,
could
no,
swear I remember watching a documentary where even if there wasn't a second guy, at least there was a time where like they thought there was and they were looking for a second guy.
No, I'm just saying I have just on the explosives development.
Oh,
aspect.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I was just talking about like the planning out.
Yeah.
He didn't think of
Sure.
it all himself, is what I was saying.
Sure.
I have the training to do what he did. Zero fucking desire. Absolutely zero.
Thank goodness.
It's like a pin, like what was it, pin Gillette or whatever.
Right,
All-
yes,
I kill all the
exactly.
people
Right.
I want to, and that number happens to be zero.
I have blown
Oh,
up.
right.
I have blown up as many Americans as I want to.
All of the federal buildings I wish to, and that number happens to be
I have
zero.
murdered as many people as I want to.
I can't say that same. I actually said that in the debate channel earlier. Just it was based on the conversation that was going on between me and Game Master and him trying to ask me questions about what it felt like to kill somebody. I did respond. Unfortunately, I have killed more people than I want to.
But
Maybe
but
we
not
should
the N-word.
clarify, since we're being recorded here, that
Mhm.
no one in this call wants to wish any harm on anyone else, right?
Right.
Nobody.
Oh my
I'm
God,
talking-
I do
no.
not condone any
Right,
of these
absolutely.
acts.
No,
My entire
no.
life is dedicated to making other people's lives better.
Yes, I am
Cool.
saying in my history, I have taken human life as a result of being in the line of duty in military service.
Well, I understand what
Sure.
what you were saying
Yeah.
a minute ago with reference to his training to be that you and him had a similar military background despite being in different
Yes.
branches, and what that meant was
Correct.
that he had contrived
He was
his plot
using
on the background
he was
of similar
using the same knowledge
that
yes.
you had
that I have.
but you don't condone those acts at all, and that's not at
No,
all
exactly.
yeah.
There's
No,
a very
no.
there is a very different thing from ending somebody's life for reasons and MURDER.
Sure.
And I even want to bring this back to the conversation that I was having with Game Master when he in text he was asking me like, there's nobody you've ever hated, there's nobody you've ever wanted to kill. And I brought it back to the perpetrator that hurt my child. because I even opened this whole conversation in my thesis by admitting that part of my position on this is that I have a child who was a victim of a preacher whose church protected him. Um, and he's like, "You've never wanted to kill anybody?" And I said, "No, not even the man who hurt my kid." One of the most fulfilling days of my life was the day that I looked him in the eye as the judge was telling them that he would spend the rest of his life in prison. And that was so fucking satisfying because I don't
I like
wish him
that.
death. I don't want death to be, I don't believe death to be a punishment. To be perfectly fucking frank,
Oh,
I believe it to be a
Doesn't teach you
release
anything.
from
no.
punishment. I
It's
believe that if you die, there is no more suffering. And there is no way for him to learn from his mistakes if his life is ended. So I love the fact that he will live
yes.
in the prison system until he dies and is not ever going to be able to hurt another child. There were 3 other victims. One of the reasons why the case took 18 months was because after we filed charges, after he was arrested, during discovery, they found 3 other victims.
Mhm.
So it stretched the case out 18 months before I was able to look him in the eye and hear him be told he was going to die in prison.
Well, that helped seal his fate for sure.
Yeah.
I think that extra evidence made it so that it would be a solid case.
It did. It did.
Death
Right?
is too good for someone like that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is even though I have been responsible for the end of life, I wish it on nobody because even the people I hate, I want them to live. I want them to live in custody and be held accountable for the wrongs that they have done. And I want them to live a long and healthy fucking
Horrible.
life. The
I
longer
want the
they
people who
live, the more, because so just to wrap this up, death is a release. So the longer they live, the longer they suffer. I'm suffering. I believe that the longer I live, the longer I suffer. And I am enduring it because I love people. And the longer I am here, the better I can make things for them.
I get that. I've never understood the attraction to eternal life. I'm like, no, thank you.
That's actually
This
something
is the only life
I
we
wanted to cover.
know we have. It's the only one we know.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to cover before I have to call the night was this idea that, you know, there is another life and that judgment will come upon them, and you don't have to worry about the judgment being imperfect because it will be perfect, and you know the people who deserve it will get what they deserve and things like that. I feel like that has been an excuse that a lot of people have used to tragically cut lives short, for people to not have concerns when they are the reason why another life ends. It's
They're better
been
off.
used, like it's been used to justify horrible suffering. It's been used to justify, you know, horrible actions. And I mean, just when I was getting treatment, I had a medical assistant come up to me and say, all this pain that you've been going through for your recovery, God has a plan. This is all for his plan. And because I have to go back there on a regular basis, I didn't fight against it. But I did want to, I really wanted to ask, like, does that make it better that, that
No.
this plan causes, unnecessary suffering? Like, does it make it better that you have to watch so many people, like, who are even worse off than me, that are in more pain? Like, I've heard that said to me so many times at this point in my life, because I've always had a rough health journey, where people are trying to, it almost sounds like they're comforting themselves when they see someone like me, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, they're trying to alleviate themselves of any guilt by leaning on the religious comforts, right? God has a plan, right? You drive over a bomb and lose the use of your legs. Well, I didn't completely lose the use of my legs. I can still walk, but it's with difficulty. But God had a plan for that. Like, fuck God's
Yeah,
plan.
I had a
This is a shitty
34-week
plan.
stillborn.
Yeah,
I had a stillborn at 34 weeks. Yeah.
I
And
can't relate to that, but that's
everyone, yeah, everyone in my family thought, oh, this is what's going to make her come back to the church, because she'll understand. She'll want to see her child again. And I'm like, no.
And you're saying, I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear because the voices were overlapping. Were you saying that
I'm sorry,
you lost a child?
I had a stillborn at 34 weeks.
Oh,
Jesus fuck. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
gosh,
it was.
I was literally just thinking about how I've seen the justification, things like God needed another angel, or you know, this is part of God's plan.
Yeah.
Oh, the worst I've seen is, God, did it for you. That I actually saw
That
someone
was the
say that.
feeling I got. No, that was the feeling I got. A lot of them seemed to see my pain as an opportunity to get back to the faith. And it was so sick. It was so freaking sick. If you repent, if you come back to the church, you'll get to raise her again in the afterlife. No, I won't.
It was something I had to think through, because when I was deconstructing, I thought, all the things that I were taught, like the people that I wanted to see again who were gone, like, is that really it? Like, am I never going to see them again? And that one took a little longer to deconstruct, but when I saw the breakdown of what we know about neuroscience, and how, I mean, at the very least, what we know makes the concept of the mind being part of some sort of soul, it makes it inconsistent. And what I had been taught, I had to figure out how to grieve in a new way. And I can't imagine, was that the first time that you had a loss after you left the church?
Well, again, I never feel like I truly believed beyond the point where you just believe whatever your parents tell you. It never made sense to me. So, maybe my loss was not as much, perhaps, as somebody who had truly believed and then deconstructed and then had such a tragedy. Um, it, I don't know if it was easier for me or not, but I know I questioned, but I truly resented them telling me that, don't worry, you'll get to see her again. If you're good enough.
Oh God, that's the worst. Oh my God, that's the worst. I can't believe it's, so my particular denomination wasn't focused on hell, didn't really seem to believe in a hell, seemed to believe that there's just one afterlife and everyone goes to heaven or something like that. But um, the idea that it's like a threat, like you're not going to get to see the people that you love if you don't do exactly what we think you have to do.
Right. It's like, and they didn't see it that way. That made it almost worse. They did not get how offensive what they were saying to me was.
Let me bust in for a second. Two things.
Sorry.
One, no. Y'all are
Trauma
great.
dumping. I apologize.
No, hey, trust me. I even said this to Chris in chat the other day. I was like, dude, because he trauma dumped on air live. I was like, sometimes we all got to trauma dump. It happens. But I do want to say it's 10:38 Pacific, which I mean, I think that's 12:38 Central, if I'm not mistaken. I know Scotty.
And it's 1:30 my time.
I know Scotty has
so...
been hosting. Yeah, Scotty's been hosting us for 3 hours 40 minutes. So I want to, and by the way, Scotty,
Thank you,
I know
Scotty.
I told you before the chat there was something I wanted to touch base with you on, but this never came to that, and I'm not mad. You and I can just like touch base one-on-one. Didn't have to be on this, but I just feel like Scotty would probably want to call it a night soon. So maybe we can put a pin in these topics and save them for next week.
Guys, you're welcome to go as long as you want. I mean, we've been live this whole time, but it's not. I mean, not like we've been swamped with viewers. And I've honestly just been working in the background, working on different stuff, and playing games and reading messages and listening to you guys talk. The whole reason why we want to do this Friday night thing is to get together and build a community, and I think that's what we're doing here. So, I'm not sad at all.
Was, I have a fan of mine who was trying to watch the stream who said they're just getting a black screen. So that was the other thing I wanted to mention. I wasn't sure if he just said just fixed itself. Never mind.
No. It could be Streamlabs, and it could be that was the crap I was doing in the background. But it could be the fact that just probably I don't know. I've got to revamp everything. I did use an old scene to build the Streamlabs show tonight, so probably should build a whole new one. So,
well, that feels like a great time for at least me to dip out because I needed to think
I feel
about
like
going.
we're nearing that time, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it feels like a good. I mean, but one thing can I say?
Please.
I talk a lot. I am a loquacious person. If anybody feels like I am dominating ever in any way, please just tell me to shut up.
What if
I don't think you did.
What if we like being dominated?
Not at all. Oh
no, I don't think you did.
I would like to answer
that.
I figured.
If you want to talk about that, we can go private.
I figured we skirted the edge of enough TOS tonight. Why the hell not go in that area too? Why not?
We haven't. Are you shitting me? We haven't.
Jesus Christ!
Skirting the edge.
Oh my God!
We have joked more about skirting the edge than we have actually.
I'll be honest with you. I was waiting. I was waiting for notification. Your live's been suspended because we talked about self-harm. We talked about explosives. We talked about bestiality. I mean, how many topics were touched on tonight
Yeah, you
that
Hey,
I
promise
guarantee
you, I
you,
promise you, I was trying to deflate the bestiality
if we were
argument.
being monitored,
That dude was coming in. That
this
dude was
I was
coming
getting
in, and I
nervous about
saw in
the
the
other
chat
one.
he was trying
oh, he
to
was here
like
for that.
somebody
Yeah,
alerted us in the
Oh, that
chat
one took me
that
by
he was
surprise.
yeah.
no somebody
Yeah.
alerted us in the chat that he was trying to like he was a known troll who was deliberately trying to
Yeah,
inflame
I checked out
by
his channel.
starting a
He's a piece of shit.
conversation.
He's a piece of shit. But
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would be
so the
thanks
dude who's
to
trying to bring up the
Magical Smiley.
bestiality comment was deliberately trying to fuck with us.
yeah, Magical Smiley
Yeah.
let us know. So I think the guy who was trying to tell you to DM you, I think he was doing the same thing too. I'm pretty sure this guy's
Yeah, he was trying to warn us about that, right? You said that.
this guy's a piece of shit, and I think enough people want follow him or monitor him to know that they headed off. So it was nice of them to do that as well. I guess I don't know, but no, I'm like I said, it was just an interesting night of just getting together and talking. I mean, the stream is just something that we build just for a little bit of content on there, and I have 3 weeks worth of stuff that had not been posted. And now it is.
Dude, are you kidding me? I already have 3 videos from last week that I'm going to be clipping for my own channel, and I'm just like, I'm I'm just going because I talked to Scotty today. I was like, hey, what are the rules on re-sharing things that I've been in? He's like, anything I've recorded, feel free to use whatever audio. All right, cool.
Yeah,
I got the fucking blanket permission, so I'm gonna be clipping these conversations and adding my own context to them on my own channel.
The main purpose of this was, like I said, just to build community. We'll keep streaming it. We'll start editing it, and I'll get better at that. I mean, I realized I can't believe people said that they couldn't hear the stream, but when I listened to it later on, like after 2 hours, I could hear myself breathing on the fucking thing. So
No, and well, there was a point where people were saying I was too damn loud, and I know I've got a loud ass voice, and I've also got a really good mic system. So there were issues with me overpowering just from audio.
Yep.
And that needed to be worked out. So I'm glad we got it worked out. I was able to adjust my gain to a point where it wasn't causing problems. So like, yeah, we'll work that shit out. And,
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to think more about my something for Father Flanagan regarding Job.
Oh,
there's something
yeah.
there's something there with Job. I just gotta.
Did you notice I put in the Father Flanagan product line? I put in trying to do like a Jewish outreach. I did Rabbi Goldman products.
I did. I saw that.
That
just
that
I tried.
you do you
I tried.
Jew
Yeah,
outreach
I
program
tried King
shit.
Solomon's male enhancement for his 1,000 wives.
Yes, I saw the King Solomon's. Yeah, was it the resurrection?
No. That was a different one. It was King Solomon's Solomon. Chewable male enhancement. Yeah, chewable male enhancements, because when you have 100 wives and concubines, every inch counts.
Oh my fuck, that's a great tagline. Oh my god.
I thought so. I'm patting myself on the back real good.
No, I had a couple good ones too. I'm sorry, I gotta brag on this before we close out.
Oh, please do.
Shit. I gotta pull this up. Again, with this whole Father Flanagan thing, and the fact that I was raised Mormon, but I have a Jewish mother, and I did have, I will say, an interfaith upbringing. So I don't feel like I am being anti-Semitic by making these jokes about something that is genuinely a part of my culture, even though wasn't raised in the religion, right?
But you are actually still Jewish because it comes from the mom, right?
Yeah, there's
So
that.
culturally
Yeah, my mom's
speaking,
Jewish.
yeah.
That means I'm Jewish, right?
Right.
So one of the ones I did was Father. Well, this was not the rabbi. This was the Father Flanagan's His and Hers chastity belts, because your virginity is more valuable than your humanity.
That one was real good.
And then there was I did a few Rabbi Goldman product lines. I did Rabbi Goldman's kosher lubricant. Glide on in like you still had foreskin.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Rabbi Goldman's Talmud on intimacy. Kosher marital tips from the womb to the tomb. So
I
that
think
was
I'm gonna
my
have to.
contribution to make
We're
Father
gonna have to
Flanagan.
work. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you. I'm good.
Us momos are gonna have to work on as far as the
Yes.
interfaith line goes. Yeah, some celestial product.
Peter Priesthood and Molly Mormon's lines, right?
Ooh, yes, yes. Oh,
Peter Priesthood
underwear.
and
We're
Molly
gonna
Mormon.
have to have.
Oh yes, the magic
Yes.
underwear. There's gotta be something we gotta do with the magic underwear.
Well, so
Okay,
Father
we're gonna have to
Flanagan
work on
is
that together.
Yes,
yeah,
that
Father
is.
Flanagan is like multicultural faith thing. So it's
Yes,
even funnier
interfaith.
if a Catholic priest is selling magical Mormon underwear.
Well,
Right.
no, that's the whole point. No, we're talking about a collaboration. That's why we've got Father Flanagan, we've got Rabbi Goldman, we've got
And
Peter Priesthood and Molly Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a collaboration. It's an interfaith product
Interfaith.
merchandise.
Yes, Father
Interfaith
Flanagan
project
Industries.
merchandising.
Love it.
It can't just be laboratories because also there's the music.
God damn it! I dropped my fucking headphones. Sorry.
You were so excited.
You can put them. Even though it's called laboratories, you can put anything that would be like commercial skit thing.
Right.
The only thing
Yeah, no,
that
I know.
I separated from that chat was I had like a merch idea. Well, it was Ember who
Oh,
no.
who came
Well,
up with the main idea.
There's actual merch. There's actual merch that we can develop from this.
Yeah,
This
no.
is just ideas being thrown around right now.
Right.
And if a stuffed goat does not come out as an optional
my God.
merch thing for the damnation, I am going to cry.
Okay,
We need
I
goats.
have a really bad fucking military story that I have to share really quick, because you said the stuffed goat.
Stuffed
So,
goat?
All right,
Oh
I can
no.
stick around if it's real quick.
when I was before I went on my first tour, there was an incident where the sergeant major and the colonel left their weapons unattended, and the weapons got stolen, and it was a nightmare for everybody on base, because when weapons go missing,
Oh my God.
everybody is responsible. So they did a complete turnout of everybody's fucking, like, everything. We are going to find these missing weapons that got stolen. They were a couple of 9mm, so handguns, easy
Which
to
actually
conceal
is worse.
and hide.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I will spoil part of the story by say the guy who did this did get caught because his wife turned him in when she found out he was cheating on him. Anyway, yeah, no, this is actually this is part of the story. One of the stories that is in my collection of short stories that I'm working on from my personal experiences, called The Things They Buried, which is my homage to Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried. Because all of my stories are about shit the military doesn't want people to know. And this is one of them. Anyway, so yeah, but the joke was yeah, we all had all of our shit get turned out, right? one of the dudes on my floor when this was happening, because everybody on base was like, we're doing an inspection, dump all your shit, we are going through your fucking bags. And one dude had 3 inflatable sheep.
Oh no.
They were looking
Please
for
tell me.
weapons. Oh, there was another dude on my floor who purchased an MP5, which was legal in the state that we were in, but he was trying to ship it to California, where it is not legal. He got brought up on charges for weapons trafficking because they were looking for yes, because they were looking for these other weapons that were stolen, and then they found him with an MP5, and
Well,
it
that
was
was weapons trafficking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it had nothing to do with the missing weapons, but he got brought up on charges anyway. But yeah, no, dude, I have another story. I have another story in this book that I'm writing. There were a couple who were there was a male and female soldier who were on a guard tower, and then there's a specialized camera called the J lens, which can it's an infrared camera that goes up to a mile out, and these 2 people who were supposed to be on tower guard were caught on the J lens intimate, and there was a whole court martial, and they were being brought up on charges of dereliction of duty, and their JAG officer got them off, pun intended, on the charge because they argued it wasn't dereliction of duty because the female who was being bent over the 50 cal was still wearing her night vision goggles and thus was still scanning her sector.
She was still aware of her
I
surroundings.
mean,
that was the actual fucking argument that passed a court martial.
They were like, "Hey, yo,
Okay.
homegirl was still on duty."
YouTube politics.
Right, I
She
mean,
was still right,
speaking
because
as a woman, I could have paid attention, you know.
I believe you, especially if he wasn't doing that good of a job.
Well, I mean, he was what, a 20-year-old in the military? He was not doing that good a job.
I said I believe the argument. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I've been working on a book for a couple years of literally just putting all these stories together of things that I experienced that I know that the Department of Defense, the U.S. military, doesn't want people to know this shit happens. And like I said, it's called The Things They Buried. That's the last thing I kind of want to share for the night. I feel like there's so much we talked about that we can put a pin in for next time, even whether it's here on the chat, or sorry, whether it's here next week.
Or sooner, if anyone wants to chat with me.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of voice channels right now that can be used at any time. Anyone can hop in those.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of the community, guys. You guys can jump into the voice chat anytime and strike up conversations with anybody. So we don't.
Well, Sapper, we have to work on Peter Priesthood and Molly Mormon's line of sacred lingerie, obviously.
You know, just do it knowing that whatever happens in the voice channels, there's not a mod there. You know, if something weird happens like over a camera or something, you know, and you can like use screenshot evidence or something and tell us, and we'll mod it. But you know, otherwise, you're kind of on your own.
Scared.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a couple other Discord servers that I admin, and there's fairly active voice channels that are 24/7 running.
Well,
People there.
to be quite frank, ever since the tragedy that I mentioned, I haven't made a lot of real life friends, and I'm only just barely getting back into making friends at all. And this is helping.
Okay,
So,
cool.
I'm always up for a chat.
Likewise.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
So I can't always hop on voice, but I am always I've always got disc up, and I only sleep in like 2-hour increments, so you're gonna reach me one way or another.
Can you hear me
Army
now?
Queen is a bitch.
Yep,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh my god. Something I don't know when I dipped out. I was probably like mid sentence or some shit. I'm guessing.
Well, you didn't
Uh,
respond to my sacred lingerie comment, so I wondered.
okay, yeah, no, I did not hear. What sacred lingerie comment?
I was saying we have to work on Molly Mormon and Peter Priesthood and Molly
Yeah.
Mormon's line of sacred lingerie.
Yeah, no, that is I'm down for that. And honestly, after tonight, I'd probably be down to chat one-on-one. I was thinking that we should give Scotty
Oh no, I
a bit
need
of
to
a
go to
break.
bed.
Yeah,
I have a
I feel
very
like
small redhead who is going to wake me
yeah.
up at 7 tomorrow, and it's 1:30 now.
Yeah, I kind of felt like we were like drawing to the end of the night. So, I will say, Miss Non Sequitur, my DMs are open. You want to chat? We can brainstorm. Sounds like
I'd love
a
to.
great idea. I think you and I can put our heads together and come up with some good shit.
And Exmo trauma bonding.
Exmo trauma bonding is on the table. I promise.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's code for soaking.
Love that. All right.
Ex-Mormon.
Thank you guys
Ex-Mormon.
so much.
Ex-Mormon. It was code for ex-Mormon.
Yes.
No, I feel.
I'm just thinking about you talking
I
about
just feel like
Molly's,
it's code.
Molly's laundry or whatever. I just think about the whatever it is, the sacred underwear or this.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about making
Yeah.
a line of like Peter Priesthood and Molly Mormon sacred underwear to go in line. Go in line with the Father Flanagan's thing, so we can make this
Very
multi-faith, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the idea.
yeah. Interfaith.
We're all going to
outreach
hell.
program.
Also, we talked about so much tonight, and I just wanted to throw out Scotty. I still want to talk with you about some video editing shit that, like, it didn't have to be tonight in this big group chat, but like, I would love to, if you got some time this weekend,
I
sit
have
down and talk
the next.
video
I have
editing
the next
stuff.
3 days off. I've got nothing big planned, so I do want to get
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I want to get my area set up a little bit better and figure out what's going on with all my cameras and all kinds of shit. So, yeah, we'll have time.
All right, so how about sometime tomorrow afternoon after we're both awake, I will shoot you a tap, and we'll go from there and see if we can get together and talk shop.
Sounds good.
All right, love you, brother.
I'm definitely very Discord stupid, so anybody that wants to talk to me, send me a DM because I don't know how.
I will make that happen for you, I promise. You are somebody I want to talk to again in the future. I am waving to you and sending you a friend request via Discord. Both of those things just happened.
Yeah, I should send a friend request as well.
Yes, please. And guys, this was the most fun Friday night I've had in a long time. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I
was
super
gonna
enjoyed
say,
it.
I'm gonna go ahead and claim credit for that. I am an amazing centerpiece for any conversation.
Well, thank you for having me.
No argument.
All right. Well, you guys
And
have a lovely night, and I'll catch you probably tomorrow. I'm not gonna be. I don't have a membership, so I'm not gonna be in the members only stream that's in the morning. But for those who are members with the Damn Network, have fun, enjoy yourselves.
Thank you,
and
Vit.
stay safe.
By
Thank
the
you,
way,
Scotty,
please
for
check out my
hosting.
OnlyFans tomorrow. I am throwing
Oh
up
my
something
God.
industrial.
Oh my
It's
god.
gonna be an
I
industrial
don't
fan.
want to see you
Yeah.
throwing up. I'm sorry. I
I'm gonna
don't want to see that.
And